Chapter 3885. Hee. If seventh sister doesn't want me to say it, then I won't say it. I understand, the young girl said with a smile. Nangong Xian stretched out her right hand and tried to twist the young girl's arm. The young girl hurriedly ran away. She giggled and said, I'll go inform third grandfather and the others. Tell them that seventh sister has returned. The third grandfather she mentioned was the third elder of the Nangong clan. In the previous calamity, most of the upper echelons of the Nangong clan had died in battle. For example, Nangong Xian's grandfather, father, and uncles had all died in battle. Most of the elders were basically dead as well. Only a few elders had survived, and the one with the highest seniority was the third elder. Not long after, Lin Feng met the elders of the Nangong clan in the guest hall. The person in the lead was the third elder. The third elder had a tall and sturdy figure. His hair was white, but he had a righteous look on his face. These people obviously knew Mulyoshi. Therefore, their gazes did not linger on her. They all looked at Lin Feng. Although Lin Feng was young, his bearing was extraordinary. Even when he met these senior experts, he still had a calm expression on his face. The elders of the Nangong clan knew that Lin Feng was no ordinary person. I'm Nangong Yambo. How should I address you, little friend? Elder Nangong cupped his fists and asked. Senior, you can call me Ji, Lin Feng said. So it's little friend Ji. May I know where you're from? Who else is in the clan? Nangong Yambo asked. Nangong Xiaoye covered her mouth and giggled. This little girl should have just told the elders some of her guesses. Nangong Xian was the eldest daughter of the Nangong clan. When choosing a son-in-law, they naturally had to be careful. When they first met Lin Feng, the elders were quite satisfied. However, they still had to find out about Lin Feng's background. Nangong Xian knew that the elders had misunderstood. He hurriedly said, Elders, I'm sorry. Young Master Ji and I are only friends. It's not the kind of relationship you think we are. Nangong Xian glared at Nangong Xiaoye and said, Damn girl, what nonsense did you say in front of the elders again? Let's see how I'll deal with you. Nangong Xian Nangong Xiaoye's just friends? The elders looked at Nangong Xian's eyes. However, Nangong Xian's face, they were all old foxes. They were old foxes. Teat. However, the elders didn't mention any names. Nangong Xian continued. Young Master Ji's cultivation is formidable, and he's proficient in formations. I invited young Master Ji here in the hope that young Master Ji can help me enter the Underworld Island and find the Underworld King Herb. Although Nangong Xian was only a junior, her cultivation had almost caught up with the elders. She actually admired the young master in front of them so much. The elders knew that Lin Feng was definitely not an ordinary person. Although he looked ordinary, that was only his outer appearance. In the world of cultivators, there were many people who looked ordinary but were incomparably powerful. Those people usually kept a low profile. The elders finally understood why Nangong Xian was so fond of Lin Feng. Nangong Xian didn't care about many geniuses, but she admired Lin Feng. This was enough to show how extraordinary Lin Feng was. Netherworld Island is filled with danger. If you enter, you must be careful. You must be careful. Nangong Yama said. Lin Feng said, Senior, thank you for your reminder. It's dangerous. I already know, and I'm already mentally prepared. Nangong Xian said. Xian agreed to let young Master Ji comprehend the immortal scripture that our family obtained. I hope that the elders will open the sacred land. When the time comes, Xian will bring young Master Ji into the sacred land to comprehend the immortal scripture. Of course, Nangong Yama nodded. There was no free lunch in the world. Lin Feng agreed to help, so the Nangong family had to pay him. Let's bring young Master Ji to rest first. Tomorrow, we can bring him to comprehend the immortal scripture. Nangong Yama said. Then Xian will take her leave. Nangong Xian said. Lin Feng cupped his fists. Mulyoshi also bowed to the elders of the Nangong family. Then, the three of them left. Perhaps Nangong Xiaoye was afraid that Nangong Xian would settle accounts later. Therefore, she didn't follow. The next day, Nangong Xian arrived at Lin Feng's residence and said with a smile, The sacred land has been opened. Young master, follow me to comprehend the immortal scripture. All right, I'll have to trouble you to lead the way, Lin Feng said. He followed Nangong Xian to the mountain behind the island. The mountain behind the island was the Nangong family's sacred land. Under normal circumstances, no one could enter this place without permission. In the depths of the mountain, there was a cave residence. The immortal scripture was in the cave residence. This place was originally shrouded in a restrictive spell. Now, the restrictive spell had been removed by the elders. Lin Feng followed Nangong Xian into the cave residence. The cave residence wasn't very big. It was only about 40 to 50 square meters in size and 16 to 17 meters in height. There were many runes on the surrounding rock walls. The immortal scripture is on the rock walls. Those runes are the immortal scripture. However, even for my family, they can't arrange these runes correctly. Therefore, you have to comprehend it yourself. Everyone's comprehension is different. Therefore, the things that everyone can obtain are different, Nangong Xian said. Hearing this, Lin Feng nodded. He had already prepared for this. Young master, you can comprehend it here. Xian won't disturb you any longer. Nangong Xian said and left. Lin Feng wandered around the cave and carefully looked at the runes in the cave. These runes were extraordinary and emitted a faint immortal force. Lin Feng guessed that these immortal scriptures should have been comprehended by a cultivator who was in seclusion in the past and casually imprinted them on the cave. Therefore, the immortal scriptures here were in a mess. But for the cultivator who imprinted these runes, these immortal scriptures were naturally very orderly. He was able to arrange these immortal scriptures in a complete manner. I wonder what kind of immortal scripture it is, Lin Feng muttered to himself. Even if he couldn't arrange these immortal scriptures properly, it didn't matter. As long as he could comprehend something useful from them, Lin Feng was already very satisfied. Of course, if he could comprehend some powerful divine abilities from them, it would be extremely perfect. Lin Feng sat cross-legged. He tried to integrate himself into this world. As time passed, Lin Feng gradually entered a state of enlightenment. Dragon, soul, never, die, will, never, extinguish. Suddenly, Lin Feng vaguely heard a low voice resounding in his mind. When he opened his eyes, Lin Feng found that he was still sitting cross-legged in the cave. Not far away, a middle-aged cultivator was sitting cross-legged. Chapter 3886. This middle-aged man should be the one who created the immortal scripture here. Although he couldn't see what he looked like, he could sense that this person had an extraordinary aura. When he was comprehending the immortal scripture, he imprinted runes on the wall. Lin Feng watched as he imprinted runes one after another. Soon, Lin Feng noticed something different. Lin Feng discovered that the runes on the immortal scripture weren't completely correct. In other words, some of the runes imprinted on the wall were correct, while others were wrong. Although the runes on the wall could form the immortal scripture when combined together, there was one important point. The immortal scripture formed by the runes was only a draft. At most, it was equivalent to a first draft. The immortal scripture had to be simplified in order to obtain the real immortal scripture. As for how to simplify the contents, perhaps only this cultivator who had comprehended the immortal scripture in the past would know. However, Lin Feng didn't come out empty-handed. The immortal scripture imprinted on the wall contains some cultivation methods for divine abilities. Lin Feng comprehended a soul-type secret technique called the Myriad Dragon Divine Soul Dao. The Myriad Dragon Divine Soul Dao could help cultivators condense the souls of 10,000 dragons. The souls of 10,000 dragons could cause great damage to the souls of others. This was the terrifying aspect of the Myriad Dragon Divine Soul. Lin Feng liked this soul-type secret technique very much. Currently, Lin Feng only grasped one powerful soul-type secret technique, which was the Luya stargazing chart. Now that he had obtained the Myriad Dragon Divine Soul Dao, it was a very good supplement. Lin Feng came out of seclusion. Soon, Nangong Xian received the news and came to see Lin Feng with Mu Liushi. Did young master gain anything? Nangong Xian asked curiously. Lin Feng nodded. Congratulations, young master. Nangong Xian and Mu Liushi congratulated Lin Feng. They didn't ask Lin Feng what kind of secret technique he had obtained. However, no matter what secret technique he had obtained, they were sincerely happy for Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "I'll rest for a day. Tomorrow, I'll go to Netherworld Island to look for the Netherworld King Herb. Have you prepared the map to Abyssal Island?" "It's ready. The map to Netherworld Island is imprinted in here." Nangong Xian took out a jade tube and handed it to Lin Feng. Lin Feng probed the jade tube with his divine sense. There was a map inside the jade tube. It was the map to the Netherworld Island. All right. Lin Feng accepted the jade tube. The next day, Nangong Xian and Mu Liushi personally sent Lin Feng off. "Young master, you must be careful. If it's too dangerous, please don't take the risk," Nangong Xian said. Lin Feng said, "Fairy, don't worry. I'll be fine. Just wait for my good news." Then, Lin Feng flew towards the Netherworld Sea region. The Netherworld Sea region was located at the border between the vast ocean world and the illusory sea region. That sea region was extremely dangerous. It was said that ghosts often appeared there. Therefore, ordinary cultivators didn't dare to enter that sea region. Lin Feng summoned the three-headed viper. Lin Feng sat cross-legged on the middle head of the three-headed viper. The three-headed viper quickly flew towards the Netherworld Sea region. 10 days later, they arrived at the Netherworld Sea region. At night, the Netherworld Sea region was extremely gloomy and terrifying. One ancient ship after another drifted over, and each ship had a person sitting on it. They were the undead of the sea. They were about to be extradited to the Netherworld. They entered the path to the Netherworld. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. Ever since Lin Feng released the mummified old man, he had offended the Netherworld. Lin Feng's identity as the Netherworld Envoy, also known as the Ferryman of Souls, had been stripped by the Netherworld. If he entered the Netherworld, he would definitely be hunted down by the Netherworld. "I need to get out quickly, or else I'm afraid I'll be in big trouble." Lin Feng frowned. Those ancient ships couldn't be casually landed because they were the Netherworld ghost ships used by the undead. Those who sat on them would have their lifespan taken away. Of course, if Lin Feng was still the Netherworld Envoy, he naturally wouldn't be afraid of the Netherworld ghost ships. However, Lin Feng's identity as the Netherworld Envoy had been stripped away by the Netherworld. Where is the Netherworld Envoy hiding? Lin Feng couldn't help but squint his eyes and look at the surrounding sea region. Lin Feng knew that the Netherworld Envoy must be hiding nearby. However, the other party's methods were very strange, so it wouldn't be easy to find him. "Pentakill Steel, come out." Lin Feng waved his hand and summoned the Pentakill Steel. In the past, he had obtained the Pentakill Steel together with Panda Cat and the others. There were a total of 5 Pentakill Steels. They were written with the words suppress, kill, exterminate, slash, and rend. The Pentakill Steel had a mysterious connection. When Lin Feng became the Netherworld Envoy, it was Panda Cat and the others who recommended him. However, he hadn't seen Panda Cat and the others for many years. The Pentakill Steel Lin Feng obtained was the one with the word kill written on it. The Pentakill Steel had a special connection with the creatures of the Netherworld, especially the Netherworld envoys. Lin Feng planned to use the Pentakill Steel to force out the Netherworld Envoy that was hiding nearby. Powerful magic power poured into the Pentakill Steel, awakening it. It directly attacked the void in front of it. Bang! The void exploded, and an existence shrouded in darkness flew out. "You found me?" That existence looked at Lin Feng with a gloomy expression. He was the Netherworld Envoy of this place. "Send me out. I'll spare your life. Or else, only death awaits you." Lin Feng looked at the Netherworld Envoy with an indifferent expression. Hee hee hee. The Netherworld emissary let out a sinister laugh. He sneered and said, "What an ignorant and foolish human. I'm the Netherworld Envoy. I'm an undying existence. How can you kill me?" If a Netherworld Envoy was a cultivator from the outside world, it was equivalent to a temporary worker. They didn't have an undying body. However, the Netherworld envoys that were born in the Netherworld had an undying body. Of course, they couldn't be considered undying. They could be killed, but as long as a remnant soul could escape, they could be reborn in the Netherworld. Lin Feng said with an indifferent expression, "You're really arrogant. Today, I'll destroy your soul and make you disappear from this world completely." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng leaped out. In midair, he waved his hand and summoned the Bell of Hell King. "Brat, die." The Netherworld envoy sneered and directly used the Netherworld Ghost Claw to grab Lin Feng. Chapter 3887. Hell King's Bell. "The treasure you took out is the Hell King's Bell. Who are you?" The Netherworld messenger was very knowledgeable. When he saw Lin Feng's ancient bell break his divine ability, he carefully looked at the ancient bell carefully. He realized that the ancient bell Lin Feng took out was the Hell King's bell. It was a treasure refined by the Hell King himself. The news of the Hell King's bell being stolen had already spread throughout the underworld. Back then, the existence that no one dared to mention had awakened and headed to the underworld. When the existences in the underworld heard the news, how could they dare to stay? They all left. Before they left, some of the higher-ups of the underworld wanted to take the Hell King's bell away. However, to the beings of the underworld, the Hell King's bell was a sacred object. How could a sacred object be touched so easily? Therefore, although the other party wanted to take the Hell King's bell away, they failed in the end and failed to take it away. When the existences in the underworld returned, they realized that the Hell King's bell had disappeared. The higher-ups of the underworld even ordered them to search for the Hell King's bell. Unfortunately, there were no clues. Therefore, many people thought that the existence that no one dared to mention had taken the Hell King's bell away. Since the Hell King's bell had fallen into the hands of that existence, even the higher-ups of the underworld did not dare to ask that existence for the Hell King's bell. Lin Feng sneered and said, "A few years ago, I was also a Netherworld messenger. I was escorting a wooden coffin to the underworld. The underworld wanted to destroy the corpse in the coffin. I felt that it was strange, so I broke the seal on the coffin. Then, a creature walked out of the coffin. It's you. It's you. You are the one who released that existence. You damned bastard. You are dead. You will become the enemy of the entire underworld." The Netherworld messenger roared in anger when he heard Lin Feng's words. He was very agitated. This made Lin Feng very curious. Who was that mummified old man? Why were the beings of the underworld so afraid of him? Who is he? Lin Feng asked. "It's someone who can't be mentioned. You released that person. He even stole the Hell King bell. Brat, I don't need to kill you. There are countless people who want to kill you." The Netherworld emissary looked coldly at Lin Feng and said. Immediately after, he turned around and flew into the distance, wanting to escape. "Do you think you can escape?" Lin Feng sneered and quickly chased after him using the 8-directional world. He activated the Netherworld King's bell with all his might and attacked the Netherworld emissary. Dong dong dong. The Nether King bell shook the void. A series of earth-shaking noises reverberated in the air. Every single sound. They all had extremely strong penetrative power, and this kind of penetrative power would cause great harm to the creatures of the underworld. The Hell King bell was the nemesis of the underworld's creatures. It could suppress the underworld's creatures and cause great harm to them. Now that Lin Feng's cultivation had greatly increased, the might released by the Hell King's bell was also getting stronger and stronger. The Netherworld King's bell's attacks landed on the Netherworld emissary's body one after another. Kacha kacha. The Netherworld emissary's body began to crack. Wait for me to return to the underworld. I will report your whereabouts. Let's see how you will die then." The Netherworld emissary roared with hatred. His body was burning. As his body burned, his speed, it suddenly increased. The Netherworld emissary used some desperate secret techniques to increase his speed. Now, his speed, he had finally increased. The Netherworld emissary gradually left Lin Feng behind. What a fast speed. But you still can't escape. Lin Feng couldn't help but sneer. He began to use the space travel divine ability recorded in the Tao of Space, the 8-directional world, and the space travel. Lin Feng's speed increased explosively, and the distance between him and the Netherworld emissary closed again. Seeing Lin Feng chasing after him, the Netherworld emissary's face was about to turn green. He shouted, "Kid, we can negotiate. I will let you go now. Return to the world of the living. But you have to let me live." But don't worry. I will keep your matter a secret and will definitely not report it. If you don't believe me, I can swear. Lin Feng sneered and said, "It's useless to swear. I only want your life now." He continued to activate the Hell King bell. Swish, swish, swish. Under Lin Feng's activation, the Hell King bell released an even more terrifying attack. Beams of light shot towards the fleeing netherworld emissary. Puff, puff, puff. The beams of light slammed into the nether emissary's body and pierced through it. Ah! The netherworld emissary screamed as if he was about to go crazy. He was powerful and confident that he could kill Lin Feng, but he couldn't do anything about Lin Feng, who had the Hell King bell. The pressure from the Hell King bell was too great. It almost made him despair. He continued to flee. When he was close to the whirlpool that led to the underworld, he finally saw the hope of escaping. However, in the next moment, his hope was completely cut off. The power of the Hell King bell was completely activated by Lin Feng. A phantom of the Hell King appeared from the Hell King bell. That phantom of the Hell King pounced towards the netherworld emissary. When the phantom of the Hell King appeared, the netherworld emissary felt that his body was unable to move. No! The netherworld emissary screamed in horror. In the next moment, the Hell King bell slammed into the netherworld emissary's body. Bang! Then, along with a violent explosion, the netherworld emissary's body exploded. Swish! A token flew towards the underworld emissary's netherworld token. It was the symbol of the netherworld emissary's identity. Lin Feng quickly flew over and grabbed the netherworld token. Then, he began to chant the Great Destiny technique. The Great Tao of Destiny. Let me take on the responsibility of this netherworld emissary and become the new netherworld emissary. As soon as he finished speaking, the power of destiny entered the netherworld token. In an instant, Lin Feng's aura was imprinted on the netherworld token. Lin Feng replaced it and became the owner of the netherworld token. Under the cover of the power of destiny, the upper echelons of the netherworld emissary hall didn't even know that a netherworld emissary had been killed. Moreover, that netherworld emissary's identity had been taken over by someone else. It's actually a purple gold grade netherworld token? When Lin Feng saw the netherworld talisman, he was astonished. The netherworld token was divided into ordinary, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, purple gold, dark gold, legendary, and mythical grades. The higher the grade, the higher the status of the holder, and the greater the authority they could wield. The purple gold grade netherworld token was the 6th grade among the 9 netherworld tokens. It was considered an extremely high-grade netherworld token. Chapter 3888. Now, Lin Feng was able to deceive everyone. He had become a netherworld messenger once again, and a high-level one at that. This made Lin Feng very happy because he could now use this new identity to enter the underworld. With this identity protecting him, it would be difficult for the people of the underworld to discover his true identity. Lin Feng kept the netherworld token and flew out of the waterway to the underworld. The 3-headed viper followed closely behind Lin Feng. Lin Feng once again sat cross-legged on the head of the 3-headed viper. The 3-headed viper quickly flew in the direction of the underworld island. Time flew, and in the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Lin Feng saw an island in the distance. The island was shrouded in black fog. This should be the underworld island. The surroundings of the underworld island were densely covered with large space-time rifts. These large space-time rifts sealed the underworld island. From time to time, space-time power would spurt out from the large space-time rifts. The space-time power was naturally extremely terrifying. Ordinary cultivators would not be able to withstand it. Of course, even cultivators who cultivated the Tao of space had to be careful. The space-time power was one of the most difficult powers to control in the world. This power was extremely terrifying and could easily cause people to get lost in it. Once lost in it, the result would be disastrous. Lin Feng noticed that cultivators were coming to this place one after another. Many of them were wandering around the outer area. After asking around, Lin Feng found out that everyone was here for the underworld spring. It was rumored that there was a spring on the underworld island. The spring water flowed from the underworld. Extreme death, extreme life. Therefore, The underworld spring contained endless vitality. It was rumored that, if he drank the nether spring water, then his physical body would be thoroughly cleansed. Any hidden ailments or internal injuries on his body would all be swept away. In addition, it was said that the underworld spring could greatly awaken a cultivator's vitality and increase their cultivation talent. Of course, the most important point was that the underworld spring could help a cultivator open the underworld acupoint. The nether acupoint was one of the most important acupoints in the human body. The reason why it was called that was because it was one of the death acupoints of the human body. If the enemy's attack were to land on the nether acupoint, it would easily cause great damage to the cultivator. However, there was no way to open the netherworld acupoint, nor was there any way to cultivate. One could only rely on some natural treasures to open the netherworld acupoint. Treasures of heaven and earth that could open the netherworld acupoint were extremely rare. However, the nether spring was one of the treasures that could open the nether cave. It was rumored that there was a divine treasure within the netherworld acupoint. Although the netherworld acupoint was one of the death acupoints of the human body, the netherworld acupoint was a divine treasure. However, when a cultivator opened their nether acupoint, it was equivalent to opening a divine treasury. At that time, he would obtain some unimaginable abilities. Whether this legend was true or not was not clear, because there were too few people who had opened the netherworld cave. If someone really opened the netherworld acupoint, the news would not be leaked so easily. Other than the nether spring, it was said that there were many other hidden treasures on Nether Island. There were even rumors that Netherworld Island was the place where a certain Nether King was buried. Although this rumor had never been confirmed by anyone, many people believed in this rumor. One after another, cultivators took the risk to enter Nether Island. First, they had to pass through the area densely packed with space-time rifts. Some cultivators had extraordinary means, or they had amazing magic treasures on them. They successfully passed through the area densely packed with space-time rifts. Then, they landed on Nether Island. However, there were also many cultivators who were eventually devoured by the space-time rifts. From time to time, screams could be heard coming from the rifts. The screams came from the cultivators who were devoured by the space-time rifts. It was likely that those cultivators had all suffered in the end. Lin Feng let the three-headed viper enter the space-time rift. Then, he flew in the direction of Nether Island. He flashed and moved, avoiding the numerous space-time rifts that swallowed him. In the end, Lin Feng also succeeded in landing on Nether Island. Roar. After landing on Nether Island, Lin Feng heard a series of dragon roars coming from the island. Then, he saw a huge dragon charging out of the island. The huge dragon was pitch black in color and had extremely thick hind legs. However, what was surprising was that the huge dragon had 4 front limbs. It was extremely strange. 4-winged demonic dragon. This is an extremely ancient earth dragon. It's basically impossible to see this kind of creature anymore. I didn't expect such a ferocious beast to actually live on this island, the demon lord said. Lin Feng asked, "Is this kind of 4-winged demonic dragon very powerful?" "Yes, of course." The demon lord nodded. The 4-winged demonic dragon rushed into the ocean. Next, the 4-winged demonic dragon stirred up huge waves that swept towards the cultivators in the void. It was already very difficult for those cultivators to avoid the space-time rifts in the void. Therefore, there was no need to even mention the fact that they had to dodge the towering waves. Many people were swept into the sea by the huge waves and then swallowed by the 4-winged demonic dragon. Lin Feng did not stop at the outer area. He directly entered the island. Inside the island, the roars of beasts and cries of apes could be heard. The ancient forest was very dense, and the ground was covered with very thick leaves. Walking on the leaves would make a rustling sound. Lin Feng walked all the way inside. After hearing the legend of the Nether Spring, Lin Feng could not help but feel a little interested in it. Therefore, Lin Feng planned to look for the Nether Spring after finding the Nether King herb. If he could obtain some Nether Spring water, it would be very beneficial to his body. Of course, what interested Lin Feng the most was that the Nether Spring could open up the Nether Acupoint. If that was the case, finding the Nether Spring would be a great opportunity. Roar! Roar came from the depths of the island. A 1,000-meter-tall golden titan stood up. Next, another roar was heard, and a golden giant with 4 arms, who was also 1,000 meters tall, stood up. The Golden Titan and the 4-armed Golden Titan fought fiercely. Their battle shook the earth and the mountains. Good heavens! The Golden Titan and the 4-armed Golden Titan are both races that are rarely seen in the outside world. Why are these two terrifying existences fighting each other? Are they fighting over some kind of treasure? Chapter 3889. Lin Feng discovered that there were also cultivators scattered around the area of the battle. At this moment, they were all watching the battle between the Golden Titan and the 4-armed Golden Giant. Lin Feng stood on top of a large tree, looking towards the direction of the battle. He was looking for the reason why the Golden Titan and the 4-armed Golden Giant were fighting, but Lin Feng didn't find anything precious. He couldn't help but mutter, could it be that the truth was different from his guess? The battle between the Golden Titan and the 4-armed Golden Giant wasn't actually because of the treasure, but because of other reasons? Lin Feng didn't care about the reason for their battle. Lin Feng went around this area and rushed towards the depths. Brat! Die! A terrifying existence rushed out from the forest. It was a forest monster. This kind of forest monster had a huge body and terrifying strength. Its appearance was somewhat similar to a human's, but it was extremely ugly. The forest monster that attacked Lin Feng was about 100 meters tall. He stretched out his right hand and pointed directly at Lin Feng. He wanted to kill Lin Feng. Lin Feng directly hugged the forest monster's huge finger. Then, he flung the forest monster away. Bang, bang, bang. A large area of ancient trees were smashed by the forest monster's huge body. The forest monster jumped up from the ground and continued to roar. Brat! Die! This time, he raised his right fist and punched towards Lin Feng. That terrifying punch was heavy and powerful. Its power was astonishing. It was extremely terrifying, but Lin Feng had an indifferent expression, facing the forest monster's punch. Lin Feng activated the 6 times dragon elephant arm and punched towards the forest monster. Bang! Accompanied by the earth-shaking sound of the collision, there was suddenly a sound. Lin Feng and the forest monster fiercely collided. The forest monster's huge body was directly sent flying several thousand meters by Lin Feng. Then, it crashed into a mountain peak. That mountain peak couldn't withstand such a powerful impact. It directly broke apart. As for the mountain peak after the fracture, it collapsed with a loud crash. Lin Feng quickly flew towards the mountain monster that was crushed under the rubble. He looked down at the mountain monster and said indifferently, "I'll ask you some questions. Answer me honestly. If you don't, I'll kill you immediately." The giant monster in the forest had activated its spiritual sense and was extremely intelligent. Now, it was no match for Lin Feng. Naturally, he didn't dare to resist Lin Feng. It got up from the ground and hurriedly nodded its huge head. "Is there any Hades king grass on this island?" Lin Feng asked. "There is netherworld king grass, but I've never seen it before, but I heard that it grows in the depths of the island on the 3rd Devil Mountain among the 9 Devil Mountains." The giant mountain monster said, "What about the netherworld spring? Do you know where it is?" Lin Feng asked. "It's said that the 9th Devil Mountain is an extremely dangerous place. Rumor has it that it's the burial ground of the Nether King. It's shrouded in a powerful magnetic field. Anyone who gets close to it will die without a corpse." The giant mountain monster answered honestly, "If it's so difficult to obtain the netherworld spring, why do so many cultivators come here to take the risk?" Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. "It's because the netherworld spring will fly out every once in a while. If you can grasp the opportunity, you might be able to obtain some netherworld spring." "Good. At least you're honest. I'll let you off today. However, you better keep your eyes open. You can't afford to offend just anyone. Not everyone is as benevolent as I am." Lin Feng glanced at the giant mountain monster indifferently, then soared into the sky and flew away. Seeing Lin Feng fly away, the giant mountain monster heaved a sigh of relief. Then, it said gloomily, "Of course I'm picking on the weak. Who would have thought that I would run into a wolf in sheep's clothing?" Lin Feng naturally couldn't hear the giant mountain monster's mutterings. He quickly flew into the depths of the island. Not long after, More than 10 cultivators rushed out of the mountain forest and blocked Lin Feng's path. There were both men and women among these cultivators. They seemed to be from large factions. Their auras were deep and powerful. The old man in the lead was especially unfathomable. After seeing the old man, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. That old man was actually an emperor-level expert. Moreover, his cultivation level wasn't low. Brother, I'm sorry. We're cultivators from the Sacred War Alliance. We're planning to invite you to explore a secret place. When the time comes, if we obtain an opportunity, we'll naturally give you a share. You won't refuse, right? A cultivator in golden clothes stepped forward and looked at Lin Feng as he spoke. Although his words sounded like he was discussing with Lin Feng, his tone wasn't one that sounded like he was discussing with Lin Feng. However, his tone was not one of negotiation. Instead, it was a tone that left no room for doubt. If Lin Feng dared to say no, he would definitely suffer a thunderous attack. Lin Feng naturally didn't believe that they were here to invite him to explore that secret place. These people obviously wanted to find a few cannon fodder to explore the way for them. This kind of thing was commonplace in the world of cultivators. This was a world where the strong preyed on the weak. So many times, even if you know that you're being forced to do something that might cost you your life. However, you can't refuse. If you're not strong enough, if you refuse, that's simply courting death. Lin Feng was quite interested in the secret place these people were talking about. He nodded and said, "Okay, I'm willing to join. I'll explore the secret place with everyone." Ha 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 ha, brother is really a straightforward person, the golden-robed cultivator said with a smile. Some cultivators passed by here one after another, but they were all stopped by this group of people. Then the golden-robed cultivator would go up and tell them why they were stopped. Many people's faces changed greatly, but they were afraid of the power of these cultivators from the Sacred War Alliance. They didn't dare to resist. They could only agree. But there were also cultivators who turned around and fled into the distance after hearing the golden-robed cultivator's words. Those cultivators who fled for their lives were all killed by the golden-robed cultivator with a golden snake sword. Seeing this scene, many people kept quiet out of fear. These cultivators didn't expect to get any opportunities, they just wanted to leave safely. In the end, these people from the Sacred War Alliance found a total of more than 20 people to explore the way for them. Everyone, don't worry. We're not unreasonable people. If there's wealth, we'll get it together. If there's an opportunity, we'll get it together. We, the Sacred War Alliance, will not treat everyone unfairly. The golden-robed cultivator said. Many cultivators looked gloomy, but they didn't dare to refute the golden-robed cultivator's words. There's no time to lose, let's go now, the golden-robed cultivator said. No one dared to hesitate and quickly followed this group of people. 6 hours later, they arrived at the side of a huge abyss. They saw that the abyss was pitch black, and grayish-brown gas was emitted from time to time. At the bottom of the abyss, there seemed to be some terrifying creature hibernating. Chapter 3890. The golden-robed man said, "Everyone, the place we're looking for is at the bottom of the abyss. Everyone, please explore the way ahead. If you encounter any danger, we'll quickly rush over to support everyone. So, you don't have to worry about your safety." After hearing the golden-robed man's words, many people couldn't help but secretly curse him for being despicable and shameless. He actually had the nerve to say such shameless words. In such a dangerous place, if they really encountered danger at the bottom, would anyone be able to escape with their lives? It was simply impossible for anyone to escape. In the end, they would die in the abyss. That was the most probable outcome. As for the golden-robed man's words about helping everyone if they encountered danger, no one believed him at all. If they really encountered danger, these people would naturally have enough time to escape with them following behind. However, even though they were gnashing their teeth in hatred, no one dared to refute the golden-robed man. Otherwise, only death would await them. "Everyone, let's move now," the golden-robed man said. Everyone had no choice but to fly down. After everyone entered the abyss, the cultivators of the Sacred War Alliance also entered the abyss. These people pulled away from Lin Feng and the others by a distance. If there was any danger, the group in front of them would act as cannon fodder, and they would have enough time to react. This abyss was extremely deep. Originally, everyone was worried that they would be attacked by some unknown existence while hiding at the bottom of the abyss. However, what made everyone heave a sigh of relief was that the journey was rather smooth. They didn't encounter any danger. Everyone finally flew to the bottom of the abyss. Soon, the cultivators of the Sacred War Alliance also flew down. Fellow cultivators, let's go deeper and take a look. I'll have to trouble you to find a way. The golden-robed man said. Everyone had no choice but to continue flying deeper. Look, bones! Someone pointed at some bones scattered on the ground. The bones here weren't as simple as one. Along the way, there were many bones scattered around. This caused many people's expressions to become solemn. Suddenly, a small bug flew to the neck of one of the cultivators. Next, it laid down on the cultivator's neck and lightly stung him. The cultivator reached out and grabbed the little bug. Then, he pinched it to death. As for the bug, green liquid flowed out. It was very disgusting. That cultivator took out a silk cloth, then used it to wipe his hand clean, then threw it on the ground. However, it didn't take long before that cultivator's body violently trembled. Seeing this scene, everyone's expression couldn't help but change. Brother, what's wrong with you? Someone looked at the cultivator and asked in confusion. However, that cultivator directly fell to the ground. His body twitched a few times before he completely stopped moving. He's died, said Lin Feng after inspecting it. Just now, I think I saw him being stung by a small insect, a cultivator said. Hearing this, many people's SSS, activated S's. When the defensive magic weapon was activated, everyone was enveloped by the light shield released by the defensive magic weapon. B. B. To be exact, there were simply too many of them to count. After seeing this scene, many people's faces changed greatly. Hurry, run. The cultivators didn't dare to stay, and they quickly turned back. However, the green bugs were too fast. It didn't take long for them to catch up to the group of cultivators. The densely packed green bugs enveloped the defensive light barrier protecting the cultivators. Next, the green bugs began gnawing at the defensive light barrier protecting the cultivators. The green bugs were very strange. They seemed capable of devouring energy. Due to that, the defensive light barrier created by the magic treasures was gradually eaten clean by the green bugs. After gnawing away at the defensive light barrier, the green bugs immediately surrounded the cultivators. Screams rang out incessantly as the cultivators who were surrounded by the green bugs were quickly devoured clean. Insectivorous bird, go eat the bugs. The golden-clothed cultivator summoned a spirit bird. The spirit bird was covered in fiery red feathers. Its body was as majestic as an eagle's, but its mouth was flat like a duck's. It was a very strange spirit bird. Lin Feng had never seen this spirit bird before. The spirit bird let out a sharp, ear-piercing cry. Then, it opened its mouth and sucked. The bugs flew uncontrollably toward the spirit bird and were devoured by the spirit bird. However, half of the cultivators had already died under the attack of the bugs. You brought a spirit bird that can restrain the bugs. Why didn't you release this spirit bird in advance? Someone asked with a gloomy expression. His companions were among the dead cultivators. Now, he was burning with anger. The golden-clothed cultivator said indifferently, "We didn't know there was such a strange bug here. If we did, we would have released the spirit bird in advance." Naturally, no one believed him. In the eyes of the cultivators of the Sacred War Alliance, they were just cannon fodder. Since they were cannon fodder, they were sent to die. If they released the spirit bird in advance, it might encounter other dangers. The other party didn't want to take the risk. Human lives were cheaper than grass. That was what it meant. The cultivator wanted to say something more, but he was stopped by Lin Feng. There's no need to argue. Otherwise, you'll lose your life here, Lin Feng said in a deep voice. The cultivator nodded and didn't say anything else. Everyone, the crisis has been resolved. Everyone, continue to lead the way, the golden-clothed cultivator said. No one said anything and continued to walk deeper into the cave. Soon, a huge cave appeared in everyone's line of sight. These people are ruthless. When they come, they'll definitely attack us. Let's take advantage of the fact that they haven't come yet. Let's go in first and see if there's any opportunity, a cultivator said in a deep voice. Everyone nodded. Everyone rushed toward the cave in front. Soon, the cultivators of the Sacred War Alliance arrived at the depths. When they arrived, Lin Feng and the others had already entered the cave. Damn it! These people entered the cave in advance. The golden-clothed cultivator said with a gloomy expression, "Enter the cave and kill them all. Don't leave a single one alive." The Sovereign Lord Old Man said in a sinister voice. Chapter 3891. The cave was deep and serene. The group quickly moved towards the depths of the cave. Everyone was moving at an extremely fast speed. After an unknown amount of time, the narrow cave began to widen. The people from the Sacred War Alliance were all very cautious. Thus, Lin Feng felt that this place was definitely not as peaceful as it seemed. There might be other dangers. Not long after, they arrived at the belly of a mountain. There were many passages in the belly of the mountain, all of which led to the depths of the cave. Everyone stood in the belly of the mountain and observed, preparing to choose a passage to enter. However, at that moment, a series of deep roars came from one of the passages. Something seems to be coming. Everyone, be careful. Lin Feng couldn't help but remind everyone. Everyone took out their magic treasures and looked at the passage in the depths of the cave nervously. Not long after, a ferocious beast shrouded in darkness rushed out. The ferocious beast had the appearance of a swan. It had dragon legs and a pair of wings on its back. It stepped on demonic fog and hovered in midair, not landing on the ground. What kind of monster is that? Everyone looked at each other. They had never seen such a creature before. Even the classic of mountains and seas didn't record such a creature. Roar. The creature with dragon horns and wings let out a deep roar and pounced on the group. A foul wind blew, and blood chi surged. The creature with dragon horns and wings was very powerful. It sent a dozen cultivators flying with a single slap of its claws. What a powerful force! Lin Feng was horrified. This creature was too terrifying. It wouldn't have been a big deal if it had sent others flying, but even he was sent flying. It was hard to imagine what kind of terrifying creature it was. At that moment, the sound of breaking wind came from the passage behind them. Clearly, the cultivators from the Sacred War Alliance had arrived. There was only one way out. Naturally, they couldn't turn back now. They could only go deeper into the cave. There might be some amazing opportunities waiting for them there. Let's go into the passage, a cultivator said as he rushed into the passage. Because they had to avoid the creature with dragon horns and wings, most of them spread out and rushed into different passages. Two cultivators rushed into a passage with Lin Feng. The creature with dragon horns and wings didn't pursue the three of them. Instead, he entered another passageway to pursue the other cultivators. This made Lin Feng and the other two let out a long sigh of relief. They quickly rushed towards the depths. Now that they had arrived here, there were pursuers behind them. Therefore, everyone wanted to enter the depths and see if they could obtain some opportunities there. Everyone's speed was extremely fast. As they continued to go deeper, they discovered that there were some forks in the road. However, Lin Feng and the other two followed a passage and headed towards the deepest part of the cave. When they arrived at the deepest part, they saw a cave. Profound Wind Demon Mansion. There was a plaque above the cave mansion, and the name of the cave mansion was written on the plaque. It seemed that this place was once the cultivation ground of a monster. As for the origin of the creature with dragon horns and wings that occupied this place, no one knew. The three of them quickly entered the cave mansion. When they entered the cave mansion, they saw 5 mysterious balls of light floating in the cave mansion. They didn't know what was inside. The other two cultivators looked at each other and attacked Lin Feng from both sides. Each of them threw a punch at Lin Feng. Lin Feng quickly retreated and dodged the attacks. What? The two of you want to take it for yourselves? Lin Feng sneered at the two of them. Not long ago, they were still in danger together. But now, the two of them wanted to kill him and take his treasures. The world of cultivators was indeed an extremely cruel world. To put it bluntly, the world of cultivators was a world where they could go through thick and thin together, but they couldn't share glory and glory together. That's right. We want to take these things for ourselves. The person on the left said coldly, "Kid, don't blame us for being ruthless. The world of cultivators has always been this cruel, to prevent you from leaking information and taking revenge on us in the future. Now, we can only kill you." The cultivator on the right couldn't help but sneer. The two of them rushed towards Lin Feng again, wanting to kill Lin Feng together. One of them used a move, Tiger Subduing Divine Fist. The other used a move, Mad Devil God Palm. The two of them cooperated very well. It was obvious that they had worked together for a long time to be able to have such chemistry. You don't know what's good for you. There are some people you can't afford to offend. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he slapped towards the two of them. A huge energy palm print condensed in the void. The energy palm print blasted towards the two of them. A terrifying aura spread out. The two of them felt the powerful pressure of the energy palm print, and their expressions changed drastically. They felt that they were as weak as ants. Lin Feng was too young, so the two of them underestimated Lin Feng's cultivation. That was why they wanted to kill him and take his treasures. But now, the two of them realized how terrifying the existence they had offended was. "Spare us. Spare us. We won't dare to do it again." The two of them begged for mercy loudly, hoping that Lin Feng would spare their lives. However, Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He sneered and said, "The two of you have ulterior motives against me. How can I spare your lives?" As soon as he finished speaking, the energy palm print condensed in the void had already blasted down. Facing the attack of the energy palm print, the two of them couldn't resist. Bang! Bang! Two consecutive sounds of violent collisions rang out, and the two cultivators were instantly killed. As for Lin Feng, he collected 5 energy light masses. As for what was in the 5 energy light masses, Lin Feng didn't know. He had to leave and find out later. And now was not the time to find out what these things were. Lin Feng quickly left the cave residence and went outside. However, as soon as he came out, a group of cultivators from the Sacred War Alliance had already rushed over and surrounded Lin Feng. These people looked at Lin Feng with cold eyes. "I didn't expect that in the end, you would get the thing inside. Hand it over," the golden-robed man said in an unquestionable tone, as if he was ordering his dog servant. Lin Feng glanced at the golden-robed man indifferently and replied indifferently, "Why should I give it to you? Who do you think you are?" After hearing Lin Feng's words, everyone was stunned on the spot. They couldn't even believe what they had heard. Killing intent appeared on the golden-robed man's face. He looked coldly at Lin Feng and said, "You reckless thing. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." As soon as he finished speaking, the golden-robed man rushed toward Lin Feng and slapped his palm toward Lin Feng. Chapter 3892. The golden-robed man's lifespan was about 3 million years, which wasn't particularly old. His cultivation base was at the Sage Emperor level. 3 million years old, a Sage Emperor level cultivation base was already extremely extraordinary. It seemed like this golden-robed man's status was also extremely high among the myriad races. After the fall of the 5 great ancestors of the Sacred War Alliance, the Sacred War Alliance no longer had any sovereign lord-level experts. Therefore, the true rulers were the Sage Emperors. Of course, things had changed during this period of time. During this period of time, some of the hidden experts of the myriad races had emerged. These hidden experts had sealed themselves in stones, and generally wouldn't choose to take the initiative to come out. However, with the appearance of the 5 signs of decay, the world had changed drastically. These hidden experts also knew that the world had changed drastically. This was their last chance to fight. If they didn't come out now, they probably wouldn't have the chance to come out again. Although the golden-robed man's cultivation base was quite tyrannical, it was still too far away from Lin Feng. Lin Feng glanced at the golden-robed man indifferently as he faced the golden-robed man's attack. A terrifying aura emitted from Lin Feng's body. When that terrifying aura enveloped the golden-robed man, the golden-robed man's expression changed drastically. Lin Feng's aura was just too strong. It made him feel as insignificant as an ant. It made him feel like he was facing an immortal god king. Only now did the golden-robed man realize that he had made a big mistake. The young cultivator in front of him wasn't someone to be bullied at all. The golden-robed man thought of the idiom, playing the pig to eat the tiger. Now, he really wanted to curse Lin Feng. However, the golden-robed man knew that his situation wasn't good. He shouted, "Ancestor, save me!" The sovereign lord-level old man was an expert who had walked out of the Godstone. He was one of the hidden experts of the myriad races. Now that he sensed the terrifying aura emitted from Lin Feng's body, the old man shouted sternly, "Kid, let's see if you dare to attack." The old man shouted as he rushed toward Lin Feng, wanting to save the golden-robed man. "Why wouldn't I dare?" Lin Feng sneered. Then, a terrifying palm strike directly toward Lin Feng. The power of the palm strike was extremely powerful. It pierced the sky and instantly slammed into the golden-robed man's body. With a bang, the golden-robed man took on Lin Feng's attack, his physical body directly, and his body and soul on the spot. "You're courting death," said the great D-level old man, throwing a punch at Lin Feng. Lin Feng wasn't afraid. He slapped his palm towards the sovereign lord realm old man. When the palms of both sides collided, the surrounding void was directly shattered. Then Lin-robed man Linti, they were evenly matched. "You're so young, but you can display the strength of an sovereign lord. Who are you?" The sovereign lord-level old man stared at Lin Feng, as if he wanted to see through Lin Feng. Lin Feng's strength was too shocking. It was hard for him to accept. However, this was Lin Feng's strength. The sovereign lord-level old man had no choice but to believe it. "Who am I? You don't have the right to know." Lin Feng looked at the sovereign lord-level old man indifferently. "Junior, you're too arrogant." The sovereign lord-level old man shouted angrily. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked at Lin Feng. The magic energy in his body began to circulate, as if he wanted to attack Lin Feng. However, at that moment, a deep roar came from the tunnel. Then, the terrifying creature with dragon horns and wings rushed out from one of the tunnels. Halfway through its journey, the creature's body began to change. Its body became illusory. In the next moment, its body disappeared. Invisibility. Many people couldn't help but show a horrified expression. This creature with dragon horns and wings was too strange. It knew how to hide itself. This was too unbelievable. Pooh, pooh, pooh. With a series of tearing sounds, the cultivators of the Sacred War Alliance had huge wounds on their necks by sharp claw lights. Blood gushed out from the wounds. One by one, the cultivators of the Sacred War Alliance fell to the ground. Then, their bodies twitched violently a few times, and they died. "Let's go," the sovereign lord-level old man said in a low voice. He couldn't care less about Lin Feng now. The creature with dragon horns and wings knew how to hide itself. This method was too terrifying. If they continued to stay here, they would definitely die. He was very clear about this, so it was best to leave now. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Under the lead of the sovereign lord-level old man, the cultivators of the Sacred War Alliance rushed out of the tunnel. Pooh, pooh, pooh. Before they entered the tunnel, a few more people's necks were torn by the terrifying creature. They fell to the ground and died quickly. Lin Feng also entered a tunnel. He had already obtained the thing here, so the most important thing now was to leave. Now, Lin Feng couldn't wait to see what was inside the 5 balls of light. However, when he rushed out, Lin Feng's heart was shrouded in a layer of shadow. This feeling was very uncomfortable. Lin Feng's expression became serious. The creature with dragon horns and wings was chasing after him. It must be that guy. Otherwise, he wouldn't have such a feeling. Lin Feng opened his Eye of Origin, also known as the Heavenly Demon Snake Eye, and looked behind him. The Eye of Origin could see through all illusions. When Lin Feng turned his head, he saw that the terrifying creature with dragon horns and wings had already jumped up and pounced at him. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. Fortunately, he opened his Eye of Origin in time to find the location of this existence. Otherwise, he would be in danger. This guy's ability to hide was too terrifying. It could kill its target silently. Lin Feng released his draconic elephant arm strength, which was 6 times stronger than normal, and threw a punch at the cultivator. Bang! Lin Feng's fist collided with the gigantic claw. Both of them were blown away. Lin Feng's dracophant arm strength was 6 times stronger than the gigantic claw. The gigantic claw and the gigantic claw collided. Both of them were blown away. Chapter 38-93. Lin Feng had no interest in continuing the battle with this terrifying being. Killing this being didn't seem to bring him much benefit. Moreover, if a battle really broke out, it was hard to say who would be the one to kill who. Lin Feng felt that even if he used all his means, he wouldn't be a match for this terrifying being. Therefore, when the terrifying being circulated its demonic energy, Lin Feng once again rushed outside. World of 8 directions and space traversal. Lin Feng's speed was raised to the extreme, instantly widening the distance between the two of them. The terrifying being with dragon horns and wings roared furiously. Its attack was about to succeed. However, Lin Feng had already escaped its attack range. Naturally, this made the terrifying being quite angry. The terrifying being roared and continued to chase after Lin Feng. The terrifying being's speed was extremely fast, but compared to Lin Feng's peak speed, it still seemed to be a little slower. In the end, Lin Feng rushed out of the cave. However, the terrifying being seemed to be restricted in some way. When it rushed to the entrance of the cave, it stopped. Then, the terrifying being roared furiously at the entrance of the cave. At this time, Lin Feng was already far away from the area. He quickly found a more secluded place, opened up a cave, and set up several concealment restrictions. Then, he entered the cave and took out the 5 balls of light. The 5 balls of light floated in midair, each of them emitting a shocking energy fluctuation. Although he didn't know what was inside these balls of light, Lin Feng felt that the things inside were definitely not to be underestimated. Lin Feng reached out and grabbed the first ball of light. The divine light receded, and a pill appeared in Lin Feng's hand. The pill was a milky white pill. It was obviously an immortal pill, surrounded by immortal energy. However, it was unknown what kind of pill it was. Demon Lord, do you know what this pill is? Lin Feng asked. It seems to be the 9-spirit divine yang pill. It's an immortal pill that can heal the soul. The Demon Lord said. There were 2 types of injuries that cultivators feared the most. One was a Tao injury. One was the injury to the soul. These 2 kinds of injuries were difficult to cure with medicine. However, it didn't mean that all medicinal stones couldn't cure them. There were still some medicinal pills that could cure these 2 kinds of injuries, but these medicinal pills were extremely rare. Even if you had money, you couldn't buy it. Therefore, when Lin Feng heard the Demon Lord say that this pill was a pill that could heal the soul, he was shocked. This caused Lin Feng's face to involuntarily reveal a look of joy. Cultivators did indeed need medicinal pills to treat Tao injuries and soul injuries. Although it might not be used, it was better to prepare for emergencies. What he was most afraid of was that when he needed this kind of medicinal pill, he couldn't take it out. At that time, it would be a real tragedy. Lin Feng sealed the pill and put it away in his empty and time space. Then, he grabbed the item in the second light ball. The item in the second light ball was actually a jade pendant. The image of a man was imprinted on the front of the jade pendant, and a line of poetry was written on the back. The content was as follows. The wind and clouds of the world come from my generation. Once I enter the Jianghu, time rushes by. The imperial hegemony is a matter of conversation and laughter, but life is nothing more than a drunken stupor. The content of this short poem was quite domineering, but he didn't know who wrote this short poem. Lin Feng carefully studied this jade pendant, but he couldn't find anything special from the jade pendant. However, Lin Feng instinctively felt that this jade pendant wasn't ordinary. Lin Feng also put away the jade pendant, waiting to carefully study this jade pendant in the future. Then, Lin Feng grabbed the item in the third light ball. The item in the third light ball also appeared in front of Lin Feng's eyes. This thing turned out to be a crystal. This was a light blue crystal stone, half the size of a fist. It was magnificent, and he didn't know what kind of crystal stone it was. It seems to be a kind of time crystal. The Demon Lord looked at the crystal stone in Lin Feng's hand with some surprise and uncertainty. The time crystal, that was truly astonishing. It was able to help Lin Feng increase his time-space. The flow of time in Lin Feng's time-space was 5 times faster than the outside world, but if he continued to increase it, the flow of time would definitely increase again. However, now wasn't the time to increase his time-space. After the matters here were over, Lin Feng planned to go into seclusion. At that time, there would be many things to deal with. For example, checking what was in the 8th level of the Chonglu Devil Palace, trying to open the evil corpse ring, increasing his time-space, and so on. All these things were waiting for Lin Feng to do. Lin Feng kept the time crystal. Then, he took out the item in the 4th light ball. The item in the 4th light ball was actually a leaf. This was a leaf that was already yellowed, but this leaf actually had a trace of vitality lingering around it. This made Lin Feng extremely astonished, who knew how many millions of years ago this leaf was left behind, but it still contained vitality. This leaf's origin was extraordinary. What kind of tree did this leaf come from? Lin Feng asked the Demon Lord, but this time, even the Demon Lord couldn't see the extraordinariness of this leaf. Lin Feng kept the leaf. Then, he took out the 5th item. The 5th item was actually a bracelet. There were some small words engraved on this bracelet, but after so many years, they were too blurred, so he couldn't see what the words were. Lin Feng tried to use his divine will to sense this bracelet. Suddenly, Lin Feng felt as though he was being pulled into a certain space-time. Big brother Yuan, will you marry me when I'm 16? Sure. Lin Feng vaguely saw a young man and a young girl. They were only 13 or 14 years old, the age when love first bloomed. The two grew up together as childhood sweethearts. Now, they were holding hands. The young man made a promise to the young girl. The young man was a genius, and countless people praised him as a genius that only appeared once every 100 million years. However, when he was 15, he accidentally entered a cave and found a black demonic pagoda inside. Isn't that the demonic pagoda that the Snow Clan suppressed? When he saw the demonic pagoda, Lin Feng's face was filled with shock. In the past, Lin Feng had helped the Snow Clan suppress the demonic pagoda, but in the end, the demonic pagoda still broke the seal and came out. The demonic pagoda had long been transformed into a powerful weapon cultivator, and its battle prowess was heaven-defying. The young man called Big Brother Yuan by the young girl. Ever since he obtained the demonic pagoda, his cultivation base had begun to fall. The young man discovered that the black demonic pagoda was the cause of his decline. He wanted to throw the pagoda away, but he couldn't do so. The black demonic pagoda had completely entangled the young man. This made the young man feel very helpless. Chapter 3894. The black demonic tower Lin Feng had seen back then was only a part of it because it had been split into 2. Of course, Lin Feng had seen the other part of the black demonic tower later on. Both parts had given birth to their own gods and were trying to devour each other. However, neither could do anything to the other. Regardless of whether it was the first or second part of the black demonic tower, their cultivation was extremely terrifying. It was even rumored that the death of his ancestor, the 5th-generation demonic master Sky-devouring demonic master and his son, the Sky-devouring demonic emperor, was inextricably linked to the demonic tower. Lin Feng didn't know whether this was true or not, but since there was such a saying, then there was no such thing as a groundless rumor. Lin Feng's cultivation was still not strong enough. Once it was strong enough, he would be able to find the demonic tower and ask about these things. What will it take for you to let me go? The young man looked helplessly at the demonic tower, but it didn't do anything, nor did it respond to him. The young man's cultivation continued to fall until he had no more magic power left in his body. He became a cripple, from a genius youth to a cultivation trash, and became the target of ridicule for many people. Even the young woman's attitude towards him underwent a 180-degree change. On this day, the young woman came with a group of people. "This is the bracelet you gave me. I'm returning it to you." The young woman took out the token of love that the young man had given her back then and returned it to him. This was the reality of the world. Most of the time, it was so cruel that people were unwilling to accept what they saw. However, no one could change this cruel world. The young man smiled bitterly and accepted the bracelet. He didn't say anything because he knew that after becoming a cultivation trash, he and the young woman were destined to be in different worlds. A toad lusting after a swan will never happen. At least you know what's good for you. You made the right choice. A young man looked at the young man with a mocking expression. This young man was her new lover. This was a day filled with darkness for him. The girl who had been his childhood sweetheart had left him. This was a huge blow to him. He lay on a patch of grass and let the sun shine on his body. He really wanted to sleep like this forever and never wake up again. Brat. 8 or 9 out of 10 things in life don't go your way. Do you want to become stronger? If you want to become stronger, I can help you. A sinister voice resounded in the young man's mind. It's you. You're the one who made me like this. The young man took out the demonic pagoda and glared at it. The one who spoke was the spirit of the demonic pagoda. The demon pagoda's spirit said, I understand your anger, but you are still too young. The love affairs of this world, and even glory and wealth, are all ephemeral. Only immortality and supreme power are things that men should pursue. If you have the ability, what kind of woman can't you get? At that time, the peerless and magnificent fairies and goddesses of all ages will take the initiative to deliver themselves to my doorstep. How will you make me stronger? The young man asked. He had always had the temperament of an old man, especially after experiencing all kinds of mockery and ridicule over the years, which had caused him to change even more. Isn't it easy to make you stronger? I will teach you a tyrannical devil art. This devil art is called the heaven-devouring devil art. It is a supreme devil art passed down from a devil lord. The demon pagoda's spirit said, Is the devil lord very powerful? The young man couldn't help but mutter. The corner of the demon pagoda's spirit's mouth twitched. Then, he remembered that this young man came from a remote place and came from a small family. It was normal that he hadn't heard of the great devil lord. The young man then said, The devil lord should be a devil cultivator, right? Everyone has the right to kill devil cultivators. If people find out that I've cultivated a devil art, I'm afraid I'll die without a grave. The demon pagoda's spirit said, You can choose not to cultivate it. Of course, if you are willing to be a piece of trash, you can choose not to cultivate it. The young man's expression was uncertain. Finally, he nodded and agreed. The young man was worried that cultivating a devil art would implicate his people, so he left a letter saying that he was going out to train. Then, he left with the demonic pagoda. After the young man cultivated the heaven-devouring devil art, he became unstoppable. At a young age, he became a supreme being and dominated the starry sky world. People called him Heaven-Devouring Devil Saint. Because the young man was a devil cultivator, he was called Heaven-Devouring Devil Saint. Many years later, Heaven-Devouring Devil Saint returned to the planet where he lived when he was young. The crowd surged and looked at Heaven-Devouring Devil Saint from afar. An old friend arrived. It was a woman dressed in white. She was lovely and moving. Many years passed. He saw her again. Brother Yuan, is that you? You're back. When she saw him again, she was very happy. Who didn't know of Heaven-Devouring Devil Saint's reputation now? Back then, she found out that Heaven-Devouring Devil Saint was the young man who had sworn an oath of love with her when they were young but was abandoned by her in the end. She had a lot of regret in her heart. She went to his family, hoping to get in touch with him again through his family. However, his people had been taken away long ago. She originally thought that she would never see him again. Who would have thought that he would revisit this old place? Heaven-Devouring Devil Saint was surrounded by the upper echelons of this planet. He looked at her from afar. His expression was a little dazed. Too many things had happened to him over the years. Just as the demon pagoda's spirit said, when he became stronger. Naturally, countless fairies and goddesses would take the initiative to throw themselves at him. However, even so, he had never forgotten her. This kind of not forgetting was not because of love or hatred. Instead, it was because he missed those youthful days. Everyone only had one youth. Impudent. A mere lowly fox dares to offend Lord Heaven-Devouring Devil Saint? Are you tired of living? Someone scolded coldly. She was so scared that she kept quiet out of fear. Because Anyone who stood next to heaven-devouring devil saint had an unimaginable background and a frightening identity. She really regretted it. If she hadn't abandoned him back then, she would be standing next to him now. She would be an existence that countless people looked up to. This guy in front of her who dared to scold her must be just like a dog wagging its tail and begging for mercy. However, she was just like a dog in front of him now. "Let's go." Heaven-devouring devil saint glanced at her and then said to the people next to him. Heaven-devouring devil saint did not want to acknowledge her. His youthful days were long gone. Chapter 3895. The sky-devouring overlord was almost invincible under the starry sky, until one day, someone came looking for him. The cultivator wore a wide, gray-colored robe and a bamboo hat, which completely covered his face. Due to that, it was difficult to get a clear look at his appearance. "Who are you?" The sky-devouring overlord looked at the newcomer. The gray-robed cultivator had managed to sneak up on him without alerting the guards. This was enough to show how powerful the gray-robed cultivator was. "Take this." The gray-robed cultivator immediately attacked the sky-devouring overlord. The gray-robed cultivator opened his arms and slapped at the sky-devouring overlord. The sky-devouring overlord raised an eyebrow slightly. He stepped forward and slapped at the gray-robed cultivator as well. Bang! Along with a violent collision sound, the two attacks fiercely collided. A black hole appeared in the gray-robed cultivator's palm. It was about to devour the sky-devouring overlord. Demonic sky-devouring art. The sky-devouring overlord was shocked. He quickly circulated the demonic sky-devouring art as well. Their demonic sky-devouring art collided, and they were evenly matched in the end. The demonic sky-devouring art was a supreme demonic art created by Lin Feng's ancestor, the fifth demon lord. It was later passed down to his son, the sky-devouring demon emperor. The sky-devouring demon emperor perfected the demonic sky-devouring art, making it one of the greatest cultivation methods of this epoch. After the collision, neither side could do anything to the other. In the end, they both retreated. You also cultivate the demonic sky-devouring art. Could it be you're from that lineage? The sky-devouring overlord squinted at the gray-robed cultivator. The gray-robed cultivator took off his bamboo hat, revealing his face. His head was not a human head. It looked like a dragon, but it was neither a dragon nor an elephant. It was the head of a dragon elephant. "I'm not from that clan, but I have a deep relationship with them. I'm here on my master's orders to invite you over." The creature from the dragonesque elephant clan said. "Your master is from that clan?" The sky-devouring overlord asked. "Yes." The dragon elephant nodded. "Good. Give me 3 days to arrange everything. I will go with you to see your master." The heaven-devouring overlord said. "No problem." The creature from the dragonesque elephant clan replied. The image disappeared at this point, and Lin Feng's consciousness returned to the real world. Lin Feng found what he saw to be unbelievable. So the sky-devouring demon saint had such a relationship with his ancestor. Strictly speaking, the sky-devouring demon saint could even be considered his ancestor's disciple. After all, he had obtained the legacy of ancestor Lin Feng. What happened after that? Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself. He really wanted to know what happened after that. He also wanted to know which ancestor of his was the expert that the sky-devouring demon saint met. Lin Feng guessed that it was most likely the ancestor who had punched through the Undying Realm's barrier. Lin Feng also wanted to know how the heaven-devouring beast sage had fallen. He was so powerful, so how did he fall? Something unknown must have happened after that, because, later on, even the traces of the ancestor who had punched through the Undying Realm were hard to find. After countless years, too many truths had been buried. It was destined that the future generations would never be able to find out the truth. It must be fate to be able to obtain the items left behind by the sky-devouring demon saint. It's a pity that I didn't manage to find the legacy of the sky-devouring demon saint. Could it be that the cave abode was not where the sky-devouring demon saint had fallen? Could it be that it was just a cave abode that the sky-devouring demon saint had once cultivated in? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He felt that the possibility of this conjecture was quite high. Then, Among the items I obtained, is one of them related to the legacy of the sky-devouring demon saint? Lin Feng muttered to himself. Among the 5 items, the 9 Spirit Divine Yang Pill and the Time Crystal might not be related to the legacy of the sky-devouring demon saint, but the mysterious page, the Jade Pendant, and the bracelet might be related to the legacy of the sky-devouring demon saint. Of course, Lin Feng would have to find out in the future to find out what was going on. Lin Feng put away the bracelet, then exited his seclusion and continued heading deeper. Along the way, danger lurked everywhere. He could often see some extremely terrifying beasts roaming about. Lin Feng was even attacked by a few powerful beasts. However, the journey was more daunting than dangerous. In the end, Lin Feng arrived at the 9 demonic mountains. The 9 demonic mountains rose and fell continuously. The deeper one went into the 9 demonic mountains, the more dangerous it was. When Lin Feng arrived, many cultivators had already gathered at the periphery of the 9 demonic mountains. After asking around, Lin Feng found out that the nether spring would fly out during this period of time. Therefore, cultivators had a chance to obtain a portion of the nether spring. This was also the reason why so many cultivators took the risk to enter the underworld island. Lin Feng was a little tempted. If the nether spring could fly out, he would find a way to obtain some of it. He wanted to see if the nether spring's effects were as good as the legend said. Master Yuan Kong has already deduced that the nether spring will fly out within 3 days. A cultivator said. Many people were excited when they heard that. Everyone seemed to be very convinced by Master Yuan Kong's words. That's great. The nether spring is finally coming out. This time, we must obtain a portion of it. A cultivator said. He was very eager for the nether spring. One after another, experts arrived. There were even sovereigns who came. On this day, a group of people arrived. The person in the lead was an extremely old cultivator. Shen Mingtsong. He's an expert from the ancient god clan. Some people were very shocked when they saw the old man. He was definitely an extremely ancient existence. It was said that his cultivation had reached the peak of the sovereign emperor realm. However, his lifespan was almost exhausted. Therefore, he had sealed himself in the Godstone a long time ago. His lifespan seems to be almost exhausted. Why did he break out of the Godstone and come out? Asked someone. They didn't understand what was going on. Even Lin Feng didn't understand what was going on. A cultivator who was about to exhaust his lifespan should not have broken out of the Godstone and come out. Once he came out, he would be in a very bad situation. It was said that the life force of these sealed Godstones far exceeded that of ordinary people. For example, an ordinary person could live for 1,000 years. However, the life force that came out of the Godstone was different. Chapter 3896. This world was very unfair, but in some aspects, there would be some rules to limit this unfairness. Just like those living beings who crossed eras, their cultivation would become smaller and smaller as time passed. Another example, these living beings who sealed themselves in the divine stone. Once they came out, their lifespan would decrease very quickly. These were some of the world rules that were born to limit this unfairness. At this time, a cultivator explained why Shen Mingtsong would crack open the self-sealed divine stone and walk out. The cultivator said, I heard that after the appearance of the 5 decay of the celestial being, those divine stones that could seal cultivators all had a certain degree of cracks. The 5 decay of the celestial being has been around for a period of time. Now, those divine stones have all cracked. Whether they come out or not is no longer something that the cultivators sealed in the divine stones can decide. But they have no choice but to come out. I see. Many people nodded. Obviously, as those experts with a strong foundation walked out of the self-sealed divine stones, the world would become more chaotic. The world would become even more turbulent. With the emergence of so many experts, these experts would definitely try their best to increase their strength before the end of the era. How could they increase their strength? There were only a few ways. The first way, to increase their cultivation by a large margin. It was not easy to increase one's cultivation. Other than their own comprehension of the Great Tao, they also needed a large amount of cultivation resources. None of them could be missing. The second way, to obtain some powerful magic treasures. Magic treasures were also a part of a cultivator's strength. Therefore, magic treasures could greatly increase a cultivator's strength. Therefore, constantly collecting all kinds of powerful magic treasures could increase a cultivator's overall combat strength. The third way, every time a cultivator successfully cultivated a new type of divine ability, it would be a form of accumulation for their own body. The more accumulated, the stronger. The stronger the combat strength. Therefore, cultivators had to constantly search for powerful divine abilities to cultivate. These three situations, no matter what the situation was in the end, it would cause a storm of blood. This made many cultivators feel pressured. These powerful existences had come out. The opportunities that originally belonged to them might be snatched away by these powerful existences. Just like the netherworld spring here. The cultivator who walked out of the divine stone was definitely not Shun Mingsong alone. There must be other experts, or they might be somewhere else. It was also possible that they were hiding in the dark, waiting for the nether spring to appear so that these experts would make a move to snatch it. The chances of these cultivators below the Emperor Lord level obtaining the nether spring were naturally much lower. Not long after, Lin Feng saw Master Yuan Kong. 10 halos appeared behind Master Yuan Kong. Every halo emitted a shocking energy fluctuation, and it was incomparably sacred. This Master Yuan Kong was definitely a monk of virtue and prestige. After about 2 days, waves of shocking energy fluctuations surged out from the 9th Devil Mountain. Many people were alarmed, and they all looked towards the 9th Devil Mountain. Not long after, a black spirit spring flew out. Roar! A loud dragon roar was heard, and an astonishing scene took place. That black spirit spring actually turned into a black dragon. The black dragon let out a series of dragon roars. The dragon's roar shook the 9 heavens. His voice reverberated throughout the world. Then, the black dragon quickly flew outside. The black dragon's speed was so fast that it was shocking. In just a few breaths' time, it rushed to the top of the 1st Devil Mountain. It's coming out. Many people couldn't help but get excited, and they were already prepared to attack the black dragon. However, when the black dragon reached the 1st Devil Mountain, it stopped, and a pair of cold eyes stared at the cultivators outside. Why did it stop? Hurry up and come out. Many cultivators became anxious when they saw the black dragon stop above the 1st Devil Mountain and not come out. Everyone was already prepared to attack the black dragon. Everything was ready, and they only lacked one crucial element. If the black dragon didn't come out, everyone's preparations would be in vain. After waiting for a while, the black dragon finally rushed out. Many cultivators became excited, and they were ready to attack the black dragon at any time. However, soon, these cultivators became depressed again. The black dragon rushed to the outer region of the Devil Mountain, and it was only a few dozen meters away from leaving the range of the Devil Mountain. However, the black dragon formed by the nether spring stopped again. Many people were completely dumbfounded. Roar! The black dragon let out a series of dragon roars, and then flew into the depths. Not good, it's running away. Many people's expressions changed abruptly. Everyone was still waiting for the black dragon to return to its original form. Who would have thought that the black dragon would turn around and fly into the depths of the Devil Mountain? If it flew back to the 9th Devil Mountain, they probably wouldn't have another chance to obtain the nether spring. It wasn't like this when it was born. A cultivator said with a frown. What was it like when the nether spring was born? Another cultivator asked. Back then, the nether spring was just a spring. It didn't turn into a black dragon. Moreover, the nether spring would fly out of the range of the Devil Mountain. Powerful cultivators could take advantage of this opportunity to obtain a portion of the nether spring. The cultivator said, the nether spring should have developed its own spirituality, so it turned into a black dragon, and it has intelligence. Master Yuan Kong said, then this is going to be troublesome. Many people couldn't help but frown. If the nether spring had developed its own spirituality, then their chances of obtaining the nether spring would be even smaller. The black dragon that was the nether spring finally entered the 1st Devil Mountain and disappeared without a trace. It didn't particularly enter the depths of the 9 Devil Mountains. It only entered the 1st Devil Mountain. There's still a chance to obtain the nether spring. A cultivator said, Many people weren't willing to enter the Devil Mountain because the Devil Mountain was too terrifying. It was a place of death. Once one entered, it would be very easy to suffer a calamity. However, the experts that came out of the Godstones had different thoughts from ordinary people. Their lifespans were severely depleted, and they urgently needed a fortuitous encounter to break through. As for the Nether Spring, it was equivalent to a great opportunity. It was of great use to these experts. As expected, Shun Mingsong couldn't hold back and stepped into the first Devil Mountain. After Shin Mingsong entered the first Devil Mountain, a few more experts entered one after another. Some cultivators brought powerful treasures, wanting to borrow the protection of these treasures to enter the first Devil Mountain. Therefore, many cultivators entered the first Devil Mountain. Chapter 3897. Lin Feng decided to find the Black Dragon, formed by the Nether Spring before entering the third mountain range. He wanted to see if there was any hope of obtaining the Nether Spring. When he entered the range of the Devil Mountain, Lin Feng felt a cold and terrifying aura engulfing his body. This feeling was quite terrible, and it made Lin Feng's heart tremble slightly. Perhaps the Devil Mountain was more terrifying than he imagined. However, thinking about it, the 9 Devil Mountains were the death zone of the sea. Naturally, danger lurked everywhere. There were dense restrictions here. Lin Feng saw some cultivators touch the restrictions and get attacked by them. The cultivators quickly brought out their powerful magic treasures to block the attack of the restriction. However, the restriction here was too terrifying. It directly destroyed the magic treasures of the cultivators. Then, the powerful restriction slammed into the bodies of those cultivators, killing them instantly. This was the path they chose, so they must have thought of the consequences before entering. However, they probably didn't expect to die here. Lin Feng continued to walk inside. He avoided many powerful restrictions and went all the way into the first Devil Mountain. The first Devil Mountain stretched for 20 to 30 miles. It was very huge. Because of the dense restrictions, Lin Feng didn't walk very fast. When he was about 4 to 5 miles into the Devil Mountain, more than 10 cultivators appeared in front of him. Lin Feng even saw 3 Emperor Realm experts. Those cultivators stopped at the periphery of a pool. Lin Feng was very curious. He didn't know what those cultivators were doing, so he walked over. When he came to the side of the pool, he saw the plants growing in the pool. Lin Feng was shocked. There were 3 golden spiritual herbs growing in the pool. Those golden spiritual herbs were slender and straight. They emitted a faint fragrance. God's soul grass. Lin Feng's heart was in turmoil. The God's soul grass was recorded in the mountain and sea scripture. It was a supreme treasure for the creation of a secondary primordial spirit. There were actually as many as 3 of them here. It was truly inconceivable. Right now, Lin Feng could multitask 6 times at once. If he continued to create secondary souls, he would be able to multitask 7 times at once, 8 times at once. Every time he created a secondary soul, Lin Feng's battle prowess would soar. There were restrictions around the pool, so those experts didn't make a move. Lin Feng was tempted and wanted to pick the 3 God Soul grasses. If he succeeded, he would inevitably be besieged by these people, but Lin Feng didn't care at all. Although the other side had many experts, and there were even 3 ancient emperor-level experts. But in a place like the Death Impasse, Lin Feng was not afraid of anyone. That was because the legacy of the Celestial Master Taoist sect was too extraordinary. Lin Feng could even use the legacy of the Celestial Master Taoist sect to control many restrictions inside the Land of Death. When those restrictions were destroyed, the power that erupted was absolutely unimaginable. Don't be in a hurry to make a move. I have a feeling that there's something wrong with those 3 God Soul grasses. Just as Lin Feng was about to make a move, the Demon Lord transmitted his voice to him. Something's wrong? What's wrong? Lin Feng asked, puzzled. I can't say for sure. It's just my intuition. Let's observe for a while first, the Demon Lord said. Lin Feng nodded and stood where he was. He didn't act rashly. The restrictions around the pool didn't show any signs of weakening. Therefore, it was extremely unrealistic to wait for the restriction in the pool to disappear before collecting the 3 God Soul grasses. If he wanted to collect the 3 God Soul grasses, he would have to rely on his own strength. Let me try. A cultivator stepped forward. A cultivator stepped forward. He was a saint emperor. Wang Kangmi. It's actually him. Someone recognized the identity of this cultivator and was very surprised. Who is he? Someone asked. An expert of the Earth Master Taoist sect. The cultivator said. Lin Feng raised an eyebrow when he heard that. He didn't expect the cultivator to be an expert of the Earth Master Taoist sect. It was different from the Celestial Master sect. The Earth Master Taoist sect had many branches. For example, back in the Tianwu continent, there were branches of the Earth Master Taoist sect in the 9 prefectures. Lin Feng heard that there were branches of the Earth Master Taoist sect in the Undying World. Now it seemed that there were branches of the Earth Master Taoist sect in the Heavenly Sage Great World as well. The Earth Master Taoist sect's influence was really huge. The Earth Master Taoist sect's methods are extraordinary. This person might be able to pass through the layers of restrictions and retrieve the 3 God Soul Grasses. Since he dared to make a move, it means that he has a way to leave this place. Later, seal the void so that he can't escape. Force him to hand over the God Soul Grasses. All right, we'll act according to the circumstances. Some cultivators had already reached an agreement with their divines since in private. Wang Kangmi naturally knew that many people were plotting against him. He couldn't help but sneer as if he didn't care. It seemed that this person had some powerful methods. That was why he wasn't afraid of others plotting against him. One had to know that there were 3 Emperor Realm experts here. If Wang Kangmi dared to pluck the 3 God Soul Grasses, it could be seen how powerful his methods were. Wang Kangmi came to the side of the restrictions. His methods were indeed very powerful. He avoided the restrictions one by one. Those restrictions hadn't even awakened yet. Wang Kangmi was quickly approaching the 3 God Soul Grasses. Everyone exclaimed in admiration. Even the 3 Emperor Realm experts couldn't help but be shocked. Wang Kangmi's array techniques were too brilliant. They couldn't help but prostrate themselves in admiration. Just as Wang Kangmi was about to reach the 3 God Soul Grasses, the restrictions suddenly awakened. An earth-shattering attack blasted towards Wang Kangmi. Everyone was astonished. They didn't know how those restrictions awakened. Wang Kangmi was furious. He blocked the attacks of the restrictions. Lin Feng stood in the distance and stared indifferently at Wang Kangmi, who was blocking the restrictions. The one who did this was Lin Feng. The hatred between the Heavenly Master and Earth Master was too deep. Lin Feng naturally wouldn't let go of any chance to strike at the Earth Master sect. Just now, he had silently activated those powerful restrictions. With Lin Feng's array techniques, he was able to easily activate them. When he activated those powerful restrictions, even the 3 Emperor-level powerhouses didn't notice it. Wang Kangmi's attack was instantly destroyed by the restrictions. Wang Kangmi took out a Jade Cauldron-type defensive magic artifact and wanted to use it to rush out. However, he failed in the end. The Jade Cauldron was destroyed and Wang Kangmi was killed. He's dead. Wang Kangmi was about to succeed, but he still died. Many people took a deep breath. The power of the restrictions was too terrifying and couldn't be underestimated. After Wang Kangmi's death, the second cultivator stepped out. This time, it was one of the 3 Monarch Lords. This Monarch Lord had probably sensed the power of the seal. Chapter 3898. This cultivator was tall and sturdy. His background was extremely shocking. He was an expert from the Golden Saint Lion clan. This clan was one of the major powers in the Sacred War Alliance. Together with the Sacred God clan, the Ancient God clan, the Sky Devil clan, and several other top royal clans, they controlled the Sacred War Alliance. The Golden Saint Lion's sovereign master walked towards the pool. Layers of seals enveloped this person. He wanted to kill this person just like how he killed Wang Dongqiao. At this moment, the 3rd vertical eye on the Golden Saint Lion's sovereign master's forehead opened. This vertical eye was extremely terrifying. Once it opened, it would release a power that would make one's heart tremble. Rays of light shot out. These rays of light collided with the seals. When the powerful seals collided with the rays of light, they were actually destroyed by the rays of light. Lin Feng knew how powerful the 3rd vertical eye on the Golden Saint Lion's sovereign master's forehead was, and the one before him was an sovereign master. The power released by the vertical eye between his eyebrows was even more powerful. Therefore, when Lin Feng saw that the rays of light from the third vertical eye actually destroyed the seals, Lin Feng wasn't surprised at all. So strong. Many people couldn't help but exclaim. The Golden Saint Lion's sovereign master's battle prowess was too terrifying. It wasn't something that sage emperors could match. The Golden Saint Lion race's Emperor Lord class experts were able to break through the powerful restrictions like crushing dry weeds. In the end, he came to the side of the 3 stalks of divine soul grass. Everyone's eyes widened. Divine soul grass. A treasure that could drive people crazy. The other 2 sovereign masters were already preparing their divine abilities. They were prepared to snatch the divine soul grass from the Golden Saint Lion's sovereign master. Naturally, these 2 experts wanted a share of the loot. They wouldn't let the Golden Saint Lion's sovereign master take all 3 stalks of divine soul grass. Lin Feng also secretly communicated with many treasures. He wanted to snatch at least 1 stalk of God's soul grass. If he couldn't even get 1 stalk, it would be too depressing. The Golden Saint Lion race's Emperor Lord class expert plucked all 3 stalks of God's soul grass. However, at that moment, something terrifying happened. When the Golden Saint Lion Emperor level expert's right hand touched the God soul grass, the Golden Saint Lion Emperor level expert was shocked. His right hand began to rot quickly, and it emitted a foul smell. My arm. This isn't a godly soul grass. The Golden Saint Lion race's Emperor Lord roared in horror. He hurriedly threw out the 3 poisonous herbs. His arm was still rotting, and it was quickly spreading to his body. Perhaps it wouldn't take long for his body to rot as well. When the time comes, they would die miserably and unwillingly. The Golden Saint Lion expert was a decisive person as well. He raised his left hand. He slashed out a beam of sword chi. Pooh! The sound of something being torn apart could be heard as an arm was chopped off in an instant. His face became incomparably pale. Even for an emperor-level powerhouse, losing an arm was a huge blow. As expected, those 3 stalks aren't godsoul grasses, but soul-breaking grasses, the Demon Lord said. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. Fortunately, the Demon Lord had stopped him. Otherwise, he would have ended up like the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord. Even though the immortal divine body could regrow severed limbs, it was still very harmful to the body. This soul-breaking grasses are almost identical to God soul grasses. It's too hard to tell them apart, Lin Feng said. Yes. However, their effects are poles apart. One can help a cultivator establish a secondary primordial spirit, while the other is a highly poisonous herb. Look at the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord. Even though he managed to chop off an arm in time to stop the poison from spreading, some of the poison still managed to enter his body. The Demon Lord said. Lin Feng looked at the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord. He saw streaks of black aura appear on his face. Clearly, the black aura was the poison that had invaded his body and hadn't been neutralized. Whoosh! The Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord quickly flew into the distance. Right now, he was severely injured. Moreover, he had been poisoned. He didn't dare to stay here any longer. If he continued to stay here, the other 2 Emperor Lords might kill him and steal his treasures. Lin Feng walked toward the 3 stalks of soul-breaking grasses. These 3 stalks of soul-breaking grasses were good stuff. Lin Feng planned to use the soul-breaking grasses to cultivate the white jade toad. The white jade toad was a huge help to Lin Feng. It had helped Lin Feng avert danger many times. The white jade toad had devoured a portion of the poison from the poisonous bug that had killed my Wu Yuan. As a result, it had completed its 3rd evolution. However, after the 3rd evolution, the white jade toad's body had developed a strong resistance to the poison of that poisonous bug. Therefore, it no longer absorbed the poison. This was the same principle as when a cultivator refined many heavenly treasures. After refining some heavenly treasures, the body would develop a resistance to them. Refining more would no longer have any effect. The white jade toad's evolution was very similar to a cultivator's bloodline awakening. The white jade toad's 2nd evolution was equivalent to a cultivator's bloodline awakening at a deeper level. The 3rd evolution was equivalent to a cultivator's 3rd bloodline awakening. The white jade toad obtained a new ability during its third evolution. It was called Poison of 10,000 Poisons. Poison of 10,000 Poisons was a type of poison condensed by the white jade toad. It was very terrifying. The white jade toad could use Poison of 10,000 Poisons to attack its enemies. It could also use Poison of 10,000 Poisons to suppress other types of poison. The condensation of Poison of 10,000 Poisons could be said to be a major evolution for the white jade toad. The soul-breaking grasses were very poisonous. Lin Feng felt that 3 stalks of soul-breaking grasses might be able to help the white jade toad evolve again. If the white jade toad evolved again, it would break through to the 4th level. If the white jade toad evolved again, it would definitely be able to awaken a new ability. Lin Feng put the 3 stalks of soul-breaking grasses into the time-space. The white jade toad immediately cried out in excitement and began to devour the 3 stalks of soul-breaking grasses. For others, soul-breaking grasses were a deadly poison. But for the white jade toad, soul-breaking grasses were a great supplement. Kid, hand over the soul-breaking grasses. At this time, an Emperor-level expert looked at Lin Feng and said coldly. This Emperor-level expert was an expert from Wanzhong Mountain. Wanzhong Mountain was a top force among the thousands of races. It was said that there were several top clans living in Wanzhong Mountain. Chapter 3899. The Emperor-level expert from Wanzhong Mountain was called Wan Hongxiang. He looked down at Lin Feng with a condescending gaze. Of course, he was indeed powerful. An Emperor-level faction was not in existence that anyone could afford to offend. Just because you asked for it, I have to give it to you? Why should I? Lin Feng couldn't help but mock. Wan Hongxiang's face instantly darkened. A young human cultivator actually dared to ignore his request. And now, he even dared to question him. Wasn't this looking down on him, a dignified Emperor realm expert? Wan Hongxiang's face was as ugly as it could be, and his eyes flashed with a sinister light. Everyone else also looked at Lin Feng in astonishment. No one had expected Lin Feng to say such words to an Emperor-level expert. Wasn't this courting death? Brat, do you know what you're saying? Wan Hongxiang looked at Lin Feng with a dark expression. Lin Feng said indifferently, Don't you understand human language? When everybody heard Lin Feng's words, they burst into an uproar. In their eyes, Lin Feng was truly audacious. He dared to be so arrogant in front of an Emperor-level expert. What a strange story. Many people had lived for a long time, but they had never seen such a thing. They couldn't understand why Lin Feng dared to say such words in front of an Emperor-level expert. After all, Lin Feng was too young. No one believed that Lin Feng could fight against an Emperor-level expert. Suddenly, someone thought of a possibility. Could it be? Did this brat have something to rely on? Was that why he dared to ignore an Emperor-level expert? Die. Wan Hongxiang's face darkened. He sent a palm strike at Lin Feng. That terrifying palm strike contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. In the blink of an eye, it blasted towards Lin Feng. Its might was so strong that it shook people's hearts. The attack of a sovereign master was naturally extraordinary, but Lin Feng remained indifferent in the face of Wan Hongxiang's attack. He also threw a punch at Wan Hongxiang. Now that Lin Feng's cultivation had greatly increased, ordinary Emperor-level experts would find it difficult to injure Lin Feng. Although Wan Hongxiang was strong, Lin Feng felt that his cultivation level was only around the 3rd Firmament Monarch Master Realm. An Emperor Lord of this level could hardly threaten him. Bang! Wan Hongxiang and Lin Feng collided, causing the earth to shake violently. After the collision, both of them couldn't help but take a few steps back. Heavens, am I seeing things? One by one, the cultivators cried out in shock, unable to believe their eyes. The battle prowess that Lin Feng displayed was too strong. He was so young, but he was already able to fight a sovereign master head-on. However, the spectators soon collected their thoughts. In their opinion, it was impossible for Lin Feng to be using his own strength. They assumed that Lin Feng must have borrowed some powerful artifact. Otherwise, it was impossible for him to display such terrifying strength. Lin Feng obviously wouldn't explain anything to them. Is that all you've got? If that's the case, I'm quite disappointed. With your strength, you're barely qualified to be my slave. Today, I'll convert you and make you my slave." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng stepped toward Wan Hongxiang. Lin Feng executed the divine ability, a thought-blooming flower, dominating the world. It was as if he had turned into an immortal monarch. A terrifying aura spread out from him. Sensing the aura emitted from Lin Feng's body, the crowd was astounded. In everyone's eyes, Lin Feng seemed to have turned into an immortal demon emperor. "Kid, you're too arrogant. Die for this seat." Wan Hongxiang looked at Lin Feng with a gloomy expression. He was being looked down upon by a junior like Lin Feng. It made Wan Hongxiang go crazy. Wan Hongxiang couldn't wait to tear Lin Feng into pieces. He looked like he was gnashing his teeth. He also executed a powerful attack. The divine ability that Wan Hongxiang executed was called the Undying Holy Fist. Endless holy light surrounded his fist. The invincible punch was aimed at Lin Feng. Bang! The two attacks collided. Wan Hongxiang's strength wasn't bad. He was evenly matched with Lin Feng. However, at this moment, the three-headed viper charged out of the space and flapped its wings. It swept its gaze toward Wan Hongxiang. Wan Hongxiang had just exchanged blows with Lin Feng. Therefore, facing the three-headed viper's sudden attack, he was a little flustered. It was too difficult to quickly execute a powerful divine ability to block the three-headed viper's attack. Therefore, Wan Hongxiang planned to quickly dodge the attack. However, he didn't manage to completely dodge the three-headed viper's attack. The three-headed viper's wings fiercely swept across Wan Hongxiang's body. The three-headed viper's wings were its weapon. They were as sharp as blades. After sweeping across Wan Hongxiang's body, a tearing sound could be heard. A huge wound appeared on Wan Hongxiang's body. An emperor rank mount. Everyone present couldn't help but be startled, including the other emperor lord. His face revealed an incomparably shocked expression. Lin Feng, a young cultivator, surprisingly had a great D-level ferocious beast as a mount. How incredible! Today, it seems like you're destined to become my slave. Lin Feng looked at Wan Hongxiang indifferently. Then, he charged toward Wan Hongxiang. He wanted to take advantage of Wan Hongxiang's injury to suppress Wan Hongxiang. The three-headed viper let out a deep roar and charged towards Wan Hongxiang. Naturally, the two of them working together to suppress the injured Wan Hongxiang wasn't too big of a problem. Is Wan Hongxiang really going to be suppressed? He's injured now. Maybe he really will be suppressed. If an emperor-level expert really becomes someone else's slave, it would be a fate worse than death. Who the hell is this kid? He's so young, but he has an emperor rank mount. I don't know him. I've never seen him before. However, he's a human. Could he be an expert from the Immortal Gods Alliance? The Immortal Gods Alliance doesn't have such a young human expert. Maybe he's a cultivator from another realm? The surrounding cultivators couldn't help but discuss. At this moment, Wan Hongxiang waved his hand. Immediately, a dense swarm of purple insects flew out and pounced on Lin Feng and the three-headed viper. This guy was actually raising a swarm of insects. Die, die. Wan Hongxiang's face was filled with a sinister expression. When the purple insects flew over, Lin Feng finally saw what they were. Chapter 3900. Poisonous insects like the 1,000 poison spiders were extremely powerful. You couldn't let them get close to you. If you were bitten, it would be extremely harmful. Therefore, when he saw the 1,000 poison spiders flying towards him, Lin Feng waved his hand. The black, god-devouring flame immediately flew out, covering the sky and enveloping the spiders. Sizzling sounds of burning could be heard as a large number of spiders were burned to ashes by the heavenly fire. Wan Hongxiang's expression turned ugly when he saw this. He turned and fled into the distance, ignoring the spiders. Right now, his top priority was to escape from Lin Feng. After the spiders were burned to ashes, Wan Hongxiang had already fled. Wan Hongxiang had already escaped without a trace. It was a pity that he couldn't convert Wan Hongxiang. Lin Feng had the three-headed viper return to the space-time continuum, where it would suddenly appear when he was in the middle of a great battle. It would often have a miraculous effect. I am Sun Yudao. I am a cultivator from the Immortal Gods Alliance. How should I address you, little friend? Another Emperor-level expert cupped his fists, taking the initiative to greet Lin Feng. Lin Feng was slightly surprised. There were 3 big shots of the human race in the Immortal Gods Alliance. Lin Feng had a good impression of the Immortal Gods Alliance. This old man should be one of their hidden experts. He was someone who had broken the Godstone and walked out of it. Fellow Taoist, you can call me Di, Lin Feng said. The others looked at Lin Feng enviously. A young cultivator was actually addressing an Emperor-level expert as fellow Taoist. He really made others envious. Lin Feng said, "So it's fellow Taoist Ji. If you have the chance in the future, you can come to the Immortal Gods Alliance. When the time comes, I will definitely welcome you with open arms." Welcoming someone with open arms was an extremely high form of etiquette. Sun Yudao could tell that Lin Feng was extraordinary, so he wanted to make friends with Lin Feng. "All right, if I have the chance, I will definitely go to the Immortal God Alliance." Lin Feng cupped his fists. "I look forward to your arrival," Sun Yudao said with a smile. The two of them exchanged a few words before parting ways. "Originally, I wanted to participate in the competition before entering the Myriad Tribe's Divine Palace through my connections with the 3 giants of the human race in the Alliance of Immortals. But now, it seems that I can participate in this competition through Sun Yudao's connections." Lin Feng narrowed his eyes as he pondered. He did not know much about the 3 human cultivators from the Alliance of Immortals, so he did not know if they would help him. However, Sun Yudao was different. Now that Sun Yudao was interested in befriending him, Sun Yudao would definitely not refuse if he proposed this matter. At this time, Lin Feng found that the white jade toad had already swallowed the 3 soul-breaking grass. The soul-breaking grass was gradually being absorbed by the white jade toad. A large amount of poison gushed out of the white jade toad's body. As for those poisons, Lin Feng was very happy after seeing this scene. This was because the white jade toad was finally going to evolve again. Lin Feng was looking forward to the 4th evolution of the white jade toad. He wondered what kind of ability the white jade toad would obtain. However, no matter what kind of ability it obtained, the white jade toad's strength would increase tremendously every time it evolved. The more the white jade toad's strength increased, the more help it would be to him. Not long after, night fell. The demon mountain looked extremely terrifying under the night sky. It was also the most dangerous time. Woo! 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 Within the demon mountain, a series of eerie sounds rang out. It was as though a malicious spirit was weeping. When Lin Feng heard the cries, he could not help but frown slightly. Lin Feng glanced around and saw a white silhouette which caught his attention. Lin Feng saw that the white figure disappeared from the spot as if it had teleported. The next time it appeared, it was already 1,000 meters away. That white silhouette was moving towards Lin Feng, which made Lin Feng's facial expression change drastically. Lin Feng quickly ran away, but the white figure appeared in front of Lin Feng in the next moment. Her back was facing him, and her clothes were as white as snow. Her hair was loose, and looking at her back, she was really a goddess. However, Lin Feng did not feel the slightest bit of charm. This was because the white figure was not a living creature, but an undead spirit. Lin Feng felt a strong aura of death from the white figure. The aura of death emitted from the white figure made Lin Feng's hair stand on end. The white-clothed female ghost, the demon lord said. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. Was this a godly attack? Don't tell me what this existence in front of me is, okay? Young master, are you afraid of me? The white-clothed female ghost asked Lin Feng with her back facing him. No, Lin Feng said. Really? The white-clothed female ghost asked. Lin Feng wanted to say that it was true, but in the end, he said helplessly. No, I don't want to take people's lives. If young master allows me to absorb some of your primordial yang qi, then I will let you go. The white-clothed female ghost said. Lin Feng was speechless. Primordial yang qi was the foundation of a man. If it was absorbed, even if he did not die, he would lose half his life. Moreover, it would be very harmful to the body. Lin Feng naturally would not let the female ghost absorb his primordial yang qi. He took out the Buddhist treasure Kasaya, and then the Buddhist treasure Kasaya floated above him. Endless Buddhist light fell down, protecting Lin Feng. The female ghost turned around. Because her hair was loose, It was impossible to see her face clearly. The female ghost stretched out her right hand and pointed at Lin Feng. A gust of ghost energy rushed over. That gust of ghost energy swept over Lin Feng's protective Buddhist light. The protective Buddhist light was shattered. Lin Feng was blown away by the wind. You! Lin Feng looked at the female ghost in horror. She was too terrifying, wasn't she? She was so powerful that it made people pale with fright. This was the Buddhist treasure Kasaya, and it was broken in an instant. It was hard to imagine how terrifying this female ghost was. Lin Feng quickly summoned the holy monk skeleton. It's his skeleton. The female ghost looked at the holy monk skeleton in shock. She actually knew the holy monk skeleton, something that Lin Feng could not believe happened. After the holy monk skeleton sensed the female ghost's aura, he actually took the initiative to return to the Chonglu Devil Palace. He did not dare to fight with the female ghost at all. What's going on? The holy monk skeleton is so powerful, but he is so scared by the female ghost that he does not dare to fight? Who is this female ghost? Lin Feng's face was filled with shock. He took out the Bell of Hell King, hoping to use the Bell of Hell to intimidate the female ghost. However, the female ghost stretched out her hand and grabbed the Bell of Hell King. The Bell of Hell King kept shrinking. In the end, it became the size of a bell and was caught by the female ghost. Chapter 3901. Lin Feng had seen a lot of spirits and ghosts, but he had never seen such a powerful spirit or ghost. The female ghost in front of him was too powerful. The battle prowess she displayed had deeply shocked Lin Feng. It was not because Lin Feng's Buddhist treasure Kasaya, holy monk skeleton, or Hell King's bell could not restrain these spirits and ghosts. It was because this female ghost was too powerful. She directly ignored the power of these treasures. It was really hard to imagine that a female ghost's cultivation could be raised to such a terrifying level. Now, Lin Feng's heart had sunk to the bottom. This female ghost was so terrifying. How could he fight against this female ghost? For the time being, Lin Feng couldn't see any hope of fighting against the female ghost. Such a terrifying existence simply made people despair. Beauty, let's talk. Can you not hurt me? Lin Feng said with a smile. The female ghost said gloomily, Do you think it's possible? As her voice fell, the female ghost stretched out her pale ghost claws and grabbed at Lin Feng. Lin Feng turned around and ran, but a terrifying power directly imprisoned his body, making him unable to escape. In the next moment, Lin Feng found that his body was flying towards the female ghost behind him. This made Lin Feng reveal an aghast expression. The current situation was too dangerous. It seemed that he could not use any means. Lin Feng felt that perhaps he could ask the Demon Lord for help. He had a feeling that the Demon Lord should have recovered quite well these years. His cultivation should have increased a lot. If the Demon Lord made a move, he could summon the three-headed viper, adding his own strength, even if he could not defeat the female ghost. However, perhaps, he should be able to escape. Thinking of this, Lin Feng was about to communicate with the Demon Lord, hoping to persuade the Demon Lord to help him. But at this moment, the female ghost let out a cry of surprise. It was unknown what she had discovered. The female ghost stretched out her hand and touched Lin Feng's dantian. Suddenly, Lin Feng's three bloodlines automatically revolved. It's really... The female ghost stared at the revolved bloodlines in Lin Feng's body and took a deep breath. The undying godblood and destiny bloodlines fell silent. Only the sovereign bloodline continued to revolve. Lin Feng's 5 devouring martial spirits merged into one. From the devouring black hole formed by the devouring martial spirits, a cultivator walked out. It was an illusory shadow. It was one of Lin Feng's ancestors. Lin Feng's ancestor looked at the female ghost, but his face was too blurry. Lin Feng didn't know which ancestor he was. In the end, Lin Feng's ruler's great imperial blood also disappeared. The female ghost waved her right hand. Lin Feng, who had been restrained, was instantly flung away. Scram! The female ghost shrieked. At this moment, her hair parted. Lin Feng was surprised to see the female ghost's appearance. He had thought that the female ghost with disheveled hair would have a pale face, a drooping tongue, and green eyes. There were even 2 streams of blood flowing out of her eyes, only that would fit the image of a female ghost. But the real female ghost's appearance astonished Lin Feng. This female ghost was too beautiful. If it wasn't for the sinister and terrifying aura on her body, who would believe that she was a female ghost? She should be a goddess. You're really letting me go? Lin Feng looked at the female ghost and asked. He found it unbelievable that the female ghost would let him go of her own accord. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. Could it be that this female ghost knew one of his ancestors? Woo-woo-woo. The female ghost squatted on the ground and wept. She didn't pay attention to Lin Feng. He didn't know what she was thinking, but she was crying so sadly. No matter what the reason was, the female ghost let him go. Lin Feng didn't plan to stay here any longer. That was because that place was simply too dangerous. What if the female ghost changed her mind? Lin Feng quickly ran away. After leaving the area where the female ghost was, Lin Feng could finally let out a sigh of relief. He took out the stone robe and put it on. The stone robe could block the senses of some terrifying creatures in the land of death. It was extremely useful in the land of death. Lin Feng wore the stone robe and leaned against a tree to rest. In the latter half of the night, a gust of cold wind swept through the world. After feeling the cold wind, Lin Feng woke up. He felt all the hair on his body stand up. There seemed to be some terrifying existence hidden in the cold wind. It made Lin Feng feel as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. Lin Feng was secretly glad that he was wearing the stone robe. Otherwise, he would definitely be discovered by that terrifying existence. 2 hours later, violent fluctuations and dragon roars came from the depths. Someone must have found the black dragon transformed from the nether spring and was besieging it. This is crazy. If you want to make a move, you should do it during the day. Lin Feng stood up and looked towards the depths. The land of death at night was like a place where the gates of hell had opened. It was filled with danger, just like the female ghost he had encountered before. These terrifying creatures usually wouldn't come out during the day. Only at night would they come out to wander. Then, looking for a target. Therefore, after entering the land of death, staying obediently at night was the best choice. Lin Feng had entered the land of death many times, so he was now wearing the stone robe and staying in one place, waiting for the arrival of the day. But obviously, the others weren't like that. They didn't suppress the greed in their hearts. Therefore, even if night fell, they were also looking for the black dragon. And they really found the black dragon. The fluctuations in the depths lasted for more than an hour before disappearing. Lin Feng didn't know what the result was. The next day, the sun rose. There was finally some life in the Demon Mountain. Lin Feng took off the stone robe and walked towards the area where the battle had taken place last night. When Lin Feng arrived at the area, he saw more than a dozen corpses lying on the ground. Those corpses had been cut open by an unknown creature. Their internal organs had disappeared, as if they had been eaten by an unknown creature. However, their flesh and blood were extremely well preserved. What the hell ate their internal organs? Lin Feng frowned. This was definitely not the black dragon's doing. It should be the work of the terrifying creatures that had been attracted over during the battle yesterday. Lin Feng discovered that the storage rings of these cultivators were still there. He took off their storage rings and stored them in the time-space. This was the wealth of the dead. Lin Feng felt at ease. Return my heart, return my liver, return my spleen and stomach. Chapter 3902. Lin Feng was shocked when he saw the cultivator charging towards him. It was none other than the sovereign lord of the Golden Saint Lion race. This person had mistaken the godly soul grass for the soul-breaking grass. After plucking the soul-breaking grass, he had lost an arm due to poison. But now, he was in an even worse state. His body had been split open from his chest to his abdomen. His heart, spleen, stomach, and all his other organs had been dug out by someone. Those saint emperors had all died tragically after losing their organs. But this sovereign lord of the Golden Saint Lion race did not die immediately after losing his organs. That was because he was simply too strong. His life force was extremely tenacious. That was why he had managed to survive. He had been waiting for a chance. He wanted to be reborn. Now, someone had finally arrived. The sovereign lord of the Golden Saint Lion race opened his palm and charged towards Lin Feng. Even though this person's fighting strength had dropped drastically, his cultivation realm was still there. He was still very strong. I'm afraid you've picked the wrong target. Lin Feng could not help but laugh coldly in the face of the sovereign lord's attack. He was not afraid at all. He sent a palm strike towards the sovereign lord of the Golden Saint Lion race. The sovereign lord of the Golden Saint Lion race was hanging on by his last breath. If Lin Feng still could not kill him in such a terrible state, he would not be able to survive. Bang! The two attacks collided violently. A terrifying force spread out in all directions, causing the ground to crack open. The sovereign lord of the Golden Saint Lion race was sent flying by Lin Feng's attack. Ah! He roared and opened the third eye between his brows. When his third eye opened, Lin Feng instantly felt a dangerous aura. It was a pair of eyes that caused one's heart to palpitate and despair. It possessed an unimaginably terrifying attack power. The power of destruction shot out from it, heading straight for Lin Feng. Facing the attack of this eye of destruction, Lin Feng did not dare to be careless. He took out his sovereign armor. He used this supreme treasure to protect his body. As Lin Feng's cultivation base increased, the power unleashed by the ruler's armor also increased. Be it in terms of defense or attack power, it was the same. If he didn't use the ruler's armor, Lin Feng wouldn't have a problem dealing with second or third heaven Emperor Lord Realm cultivators. Even if he couldn't kill the other party, he should be able to fight on par with the other party. If Lin Feng used the ruler's armor, his battle prowess would increase by at least 3 levels. Lin Feng quickly leaped through the void, dodging the beams of light of destruction that shot towards him. Of course, Lin Feng couldn't completely avoid the destructive light. Some of the light still hit Lin Feng. However, the terrifying power contained within the light beam was basically neutralized by the ruler's armor. The power that hadn't been neutralized by the sovereign's armor was neutralized by Lin Feng. Lin Feng continued to approach the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord. Right now, this person's cultivation base, reaction speed, attack speed, movement speed, and so on were all nonsense. He was no match for Lin Feng. Soon, Lin Feng arrived in front of the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord. Then, he grabbed the head of the Golden Saint Lion race's Emperor Lord level expert and pulled his head off his neck. I'm actually going to die here. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. The Golden Saint Lion race's Emperor level expert roared furiously. Your life force is really strong. You're still alive. But that's fine too. I can use a soul search on you. Let's see what you went through yesterday. Lin Feng sneered. Next, he used a soul search on the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord's soul. Lin Feng saw many scenes. Dozens of cultivators were attacking Black Dragon. Black Dragon's body began to crumble. The crumbling pieces of his body turned into nether spring water, which was snatched away by many cultivators. In the end, Black Dragon broke through the sky and escaped. Many Emperor Lords obtained the nether spring water. Some of the stronger Sage Emperors also obtained the nether spring water. Just as these cultivators were about to leave, terrifying existences appeared from Devil Mountain. And there was more than one of them. These cultivators were attacked by the terrifying existences from Devil Mountain. Many of them fled into the distance. The terrifying existences from Devil Mountain spread out and chased after the fleeing cultivators. A gust of wind swept over a dozen cultivators. These cultivators were the Sage Emperors and the Emperor Lord of the Golden Saint Lion race who had died in the forest. When Lin Feng saw that gust of wind, he felt a lingering fear. He had a deep impression of that gust of wind because it had passed by him last night. However, he was wearing a stone robe and had concealed himself. Thus, the terrifying existences in that gust of wind didn't discover him. What surprised Lin Feng was that the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord's memories told him that he had obtained a portion of the nether spring water yesterday. The nether spring water was sealed in a spatial porcelain bottle. As for that spatial porcelain bottle, it was kept in this fella's storage ring. Lin Feng had heard of the miraculous effects of the nether spring water. Now that he had obtained the nether spring water from the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord, he was very happy. Lin Feng planned to continue searching the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord's soul. This time, Lin Feng planned to search for the core secrets and supreme sacred art inheritance of the Golden Saint Lion race. However, just as Lin Feng was about to come into contact with these contents, a powerful energy surged out from the depths of the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord's soul. That powerful energy was extremely terrifying. It instantly destroyed the Golden Saint Lion Emperor Lord's soul. That should be the power of restriction. Once the core secrets of the race's cultivators were forcefully searched, the power of restriction would explode. The power of the restriction would explode, and then the power of the restriction would destroy the opponent's soul. Lin Feng was a little depressed. However, he had thought of this before, so he wasn't particularly disappointed. He casually tossed the head of the Golden Saint Lion clan's Emperor Lord onto the ground. Then, he took the person's storage ring and quickly left the forest. Lin Feng found a secluded cave and sealed it with some deployment spells. Chapter 3903. Lin Feng swallowed the nether spring water and started to use the Archean Dragonesque elephant art to refine the nether spring water. The nether spring water was quickly broken down and turned into the purest energy, which was absorbed by Lin Feng's body. The nether spring water could treat hidden injuries, improve one's talent, and open the nether acupoint. The effects were really amazing. Of course, these were just rumors. Nobody knew if it really had such magical effects. They would have to wait until Lin Feng completely refined the nether spring water to find out. Under Lin Feng's refinement, the nether spring water turned into pure energy, which was gradually absorbed by Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng realized that as the pure energy was refined, his body became much more relaxed. The immortal divine body could indeed heal the body's injuries, but cultivators often had some hidden injuries. Those hidden injuries were very strange and difficult to treat. To treat those hidden injuries, one would need very special elixirs or treasures. The recovery of hidden injuries could be sensed, but the improvement of one's talent could not be seen. He could only slowly discover it during his cultivation in the future. Lin Feng began to try to open the nether acupoint. This acupoint was on the lower left side of the lower abdomen, 3 inches away from the acupoint. This was one of the death acupoints of the human body, and also one of the most important acupoints of the human body because it was located in the abdomen. Therefore, there was a very mysterious connection between it and the dantian. A large amount of nether spring water flowed into the nether acupoint. There was an obvious barrier in the nether acupoint that prevented the nether spring water from entering. It was rumored that there was a divine treasure hidden in the nether acupoint. As for what kind of divine treasure it was, only those who had opened the nether acupoint would know. In this world, cultivators who could successfully open the nether acupoint were extremely rare. Many cultivators might not be able to open the nether acupoint even if they obtained the nether spring water. Under the impact of the nether spring water, the nether acupoint was slowly opening. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. After 3 days, Lin Feng finally successfully opened the nether acupoint with the help of the nether spring water. Next, Lin Feng's spiritual force entered the nether acupoint. Lin Feng's face revealed an extremely shocked expression. That was because he discovered that there was actually an enormous door of darkness in his nether cave. That huge door of darkness exuded a gloomy aura. He didn't know where the huge door of darkness led to. Lin Feng had a feeling. Behind that huge door of darkness, there must be a mysterious world that was connected to it. There is a divine treasury in the nether cave. Could that door of darkness be the divine treasury in the nether cave? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. He couldn't be sure, but Lin Feng felt that there might be such a possibility. He decided to ask the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord was experienced and knowledgeable. Perhaps he had some understanding of the divine treasures in the Netherworld cave. Demon Lord, a door of darkness appeared in my Netherworld cave. In the Netherworld cave of the other cultivators, is it also a portal of darkness? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask curiously. The Demon Lord said, "No, the divine treasury in everyone's Netherworld cave is different." Lin Feng asked curiously, "Why is there a divine treasury in the Netherworld cave? This is too inconceivable." The Demon Lord said, "The human body is very mysterious. The human body itself is a divine treasury, and the human body's acupoints. Perhaps it is the space that hides these divine treasures. Therefore, it is not surprising for a divine treasury to appear in the human body. Why do you think so many races like to transform into human form? It is because when their bodies transform into human form, they also seem to obtain some of the special abilities of the human race. For example, some of the special acupoints of the human race contain divine treasures. Therefore, it is not without reason that the human race is the greatest race. Lin Feng said. The demon lord was silent and didn't answer Lin Feng. Lin Feng's divine sense continued to sense the portal of darkness. The portal of darkness was densely covered with mysterious divine runes. Every divine inscription emitted a shocking wave of energy. These divine runes were too mysterious. Lin Feng had never seen them before. He asked the demon lord. The demon lord had never seen them before. Lin Feng wanted to open the portal of darkness. He wanted to see what was behind it. Was it really as he had guessed? Was there really a mysterious world behind the door of darkness? Lin Feng tried to open the portal of darkness. However, Lin Feng soon discovered that the portal of darkness couldn't be opened at all. The portal of darkness was surrounded by endless power of darkness. It was full of mystery, but it was still tightly shut. Perhaps my cultivation is not enough, or perhaps it is not the right time, the demon lord said. Lin Feng nodded. Although he wanted to open the portal of darkness, Lin Feng also knew that this couldn't be rushed. Haste makes waste. Lin Feng's divine sense retreated from the netherworld cave. His face was filled with joy. Successfully opening the netherworld cave and discovering the portal of darkness was a major discovery. Perhaps, after opening the portal of darkness in the future, he would discover some shocking things. Lin Feng came out of seclusion and continued towards the third demonic mountain. Dangers lurked everywhere in the demonic mountain. He had to be careful. Lin Feng usually chose to travel during the day and put on the stone-clad cultivator at night. 2 days later, Lin Feng finally arrived at the third demonic mountain. The third demonic mountain was even more dangerous. When Lin Feng arrived there, he had the feeling that something was staring at him. Lin Feng had the feeling that something was staring at him. His hair stood on end. He looked around with a serious expression, but he didn't find anything strange. Lin Feng frowned. He felt that danger was approaching, but he didn't know what it was. Before the sky turns dark, I'll go and pick the netherworld king grass. After that, I'll leave immediately. Lin Feng couldn't help taking a deep breath. He increased his speed and headed towards the depths of the third demonic mountain. Previously, Lin Feng had inquired about the location of the netherworld king grass from the forest monsters. Therefore, Lin Feng had a clear goal. As for the netherworld king's tomb in the 9th demonic mountain, Lin Feng was very interested in it. However, he didn't plan to explore the tomb. That place was too dangerous. If he entered it, he would have a 90% chance of dying. Lin Feng found the netherworld king grass in a valley in the 3rd demonic mountain. There were more than 10 stalks of netherworld king grass growing here. The netherworld king grass lingered in the darkness. Its leaves were wide, flat, palm-sized, and completely black. Chapter 3904. Lin Feng's expression changed when he felt the chilling wind. This chilling wind was too familiar. Previously, he was wearing the stone armor. When he felt the chilling wind, he also discovered the terrifying existence within. However, the terrifying existence didn't notice him. Lin Feng originally thought that the existence within the chilling wind was the terrifying existence from the first Devil Mountain. However, he now knew that the existence within the chilling wind was actually the terrifying existence from the third Devil Mountain. Now, Lin Feng finally understood why he had the feeling that someone was watching him when he had entered the third Demon Mountain. It turned out that he was being watched by the existence within the chilling wind. Previously, he thought that the feeling was a mistake, but now he knew that it wasn't a mistake. He was really being watched by a terrifying existence. Lin Feng waved his hand and grabbed more than a dozen underworld king herbs before keeping them. Then, he quickly rushed outside. However, the chilling wind became stronger, and Lin Feng was pushed back into the valley. Lin Feng's expression suddenly sank. It seemed like this battle was unavoidable. He took out the ruler's armor. The ruler's armor appeared and wrapped around his body. At the same time, Lin Feng made contact with more than a dozen treasures. He could take out more than a dozen treasures at any time to deal with the terrifying existence in front of him. Jiji Jaiji, kid, you've got guts. How dare you come here to steal the underworld king herbs? A black shadow appeared within the chilling wind. The black shadow let out a sinister voice as a pair of sinister eyes stared at Lin Feng. This existence, it was the terrifying existence hidden within the chilling wind. Lin Feng finally saw the appearance of this terrifying existence. Cough cough, I'm here to borrow the underworld king herbs. I'll return them in the future. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Lin Feng smiled embarrassedly. The terrifying existence within the chilling wind looked at Lin Feng indifferently and sneered. Kid, do you think you can escape now? Lin Feng smiled bitterly. This terrifying existence had locked onto him. It was indeed too difficult for him to leave. However, Lin Feng felt that this terrifying existence didn't seem to want to kill him immediately. Otherwise, he would have already made his move. There was no need for him to speak so much. You must have another purpose. Can you tell me? Lin Feng asked as he looked at the terrifying existence. The terrifying existence said, I was planning to use you to return something. Use me to exchange for something? What do you mean by that? Asked Lin Feng. He didn't understand. Hee, you'll know soon enough. The terrifying existence said. As soon as he finished speaking, the terrifying existence opened his hand and grabbed at Lin Feng. A huge claw condensed and grabbed at Lin Feng. Go to hell, Lin Feng coldly shouted. More than a dozen powerful magical weapons were summoned by Lin Feng. These powerful magical weapons all rushed towards the claw condensed by this terrifying existence. Bang! More than a dozen powerful magical weapons collided with the claw condensed by the terrifying existence. Instantly, a violent collision sound rang out. Something that made Lin Feng's hair stand on end happened. The powerful magical weapons were all sent flying when they collided with the claw. This terrifying existence was simply too strong. There was no way to fight against it at all. The claw shook the void. The power of the magical weapons was scattered and flew back into Lin Feng's body. Kid, your struggle is futile, the terrifying existence said sinisterly. In the next moment, the claw grabbed Lin Feng. Then, a gust of cold wind swept through the world. Lin Feng was wrapped up by the terrifying existence and flew towards the depths of the place. Where are you taking me? Lin Feng couldn't help but shout. He didn't know where this terrifying existence was taking him. According to this fellow, he wanted to use him to exchange for something with a certain existence. What did he want to exchange for? Lin Feng wanted nothing more than to punch this despicable fellow to death. He actually wanted to use him to exchange for something with someone else. What kind of person did this fellow think he was? How despicable. Kid, you should rejoice. If you weren't related to that fellow, you would have been a dead man by now. The terrifying existence said with a sinister smile. His speed was extremely fast. Soon, he brought Lin Feng to the 9th Devil Mountain. After arriving at the 9th Devil Mountain, Lin Feng was extremely shocked. He didn't expect this fellow to bring him here. He didn't know what this fellow's goal was. Soon, they arrived at the depths of the 9th Devil Mountain. There was a huge tomb in the depths of the 9th Devil Mountain. There was a tombstone in front of the tomb. However, there were no words on the tombstone. It was a blank tombstone. Lin Feng suddenly thought of a rumor. It was said that a Nether King was buried in the 9th Devil Mountain. As for which Nether King it was, Lin Feng wasn't sure. Is that the Nether King's tomb? Lin Feng asked. That's right. That's the Nether King's tomb. The existence buried inside is a genuine Nether King. Lin Feng took a deep breath. It was really the Nether King's tomb. Nether King, the ruler of the Netherworld. The Nether King was actually a title from the era of conferred gods. Furthermore, the Nether King title was much stronger than ordinary conferred gods. The Netherworld was one of the 3 supreme realms, and the Nether King was the ruler of the Netherworld. Therefore, even in the era of conferred gods, the Nether King was one of the strongest existences. Lin Feng didn't expect this fellow to want to use him to make a deal with the Nether King. Nether King, come out. Perhaps we can have a talk, the terrifying existence said. However, there was no movement in the surroundings. The mysterious Nether King didn't appear. Nether King, I know that you have awakened. Are you really not coming out? Look at this brat beside me. If you don't come out, I can only kill him. The terrifying existence continued. Using Lin Feng to threaten the Nether King? Lin Feng didn't understand. He didn't know the Nether King at all. Why was this fellow using him to threaten the Nether King? However, this terrifying existence seemed to have miscalculated. The Nether King still didn't come out. Fine, Nether King. If you don't want to talk, then today's meeting is over. I want to kill this brat. The terrifying existence said as it stretched out its claws to grab Lin Feng. However, at this moment, the void distorted, and a figure appeared. Chapter 3905. After a long wait, the Nether King finally appeared. Lin Feng also saw the Nether King. When Lin Feng saw the Nether King, he was in disbelief. The Nether King was actually that female ghost. It was simply unimaginable how powerful and terrifying that female ghost was. Who would have thought that the female ghost was actually the Nether King? You are really disgusting. The Nether King looked indifferently at the terrifying existence in the cold wind. Your Highness, of course, you can hate me, but you have to admit one thing. Even if you hate me, you can't do anything to me. Speaking of which, I woke up much earlier than you. The terrifying existence said in a sinister voice. No wonder this fellow dared to threaten Lin Feng. It turned out that he was so confident. The Nether King was no longer the Nether King of the past. The current Nether King was just a ghost, formed after the Nether King died. To be precise, the current Nether King was just a ghost. He did not have the strength he had in the past. If the Nether King still had the strength he had in the past, how would this fellow dare to behave so atrociously in front of him? Wasn't that courting death? The Nether King was not someone that anyone could provoke. What do you want? The Nether King asked indifferently. The water of fate. I know you have the water of fate. An existence like you. After death, it is impossible for a Een spirit to appear. However, you managed to create a Een spirit. This Een spirit even awakened some of the memories of its previous life. I know that this is because of the water of fate. Now, give me the water of fate and I will hand this brat over to you. The terrifying existence said. You know quite a lot. The Nether King looked coldly at the terrifying existence. Of course I know a lot. Because of what I did to you in your previous life. I have some understanding. You have been chasing after someone's footsteps. But in the end, you could not catch up. In the end, you died with hatred. That person looked back and realized what he had missed out on. He built this ancient tomb for you and used the 6 paths of reincarnation to change your fate. He also left behind the water of fate, hoping that you would be able to return one day. The terrifying existence said, Shut up. Nether King suddenly screamed. Of course I can shut up, but you'd better consider my proposal quickly, because my patience is limited. The terrifying existence said. Whoosh. A light flashed in the Nether King's hand, and an energy ball appeared. There seemed to be some liquid floating within the ball of energy. This liquid was very likely the water of destiny that this terrifying existence had mentioned. I'll give you the person, and you'll give me the item, the terrifying existence said. The Nether King flicked his finger, and the energy ball flew towards this terrifying existence. This terrifying existence lightly patted Lin Feng's back. Lin Feng flew towards the Nether King. Soon, he landed beside the Nether King. Lin Feng was so touched that tears streamed down his cheeks. It seemed that the Netherworld King had once had a relationship with his ancestor. Fortunately, this Netherworld King still remembered their old friendship and saved his life. She was really beautiful. The kind-hearted Nether King. Ha ha ha, Hades. I have no intention of offending you, but I also need the water of destiny. The terrifying existence collected the ball of energy and then laughed heartily. He did not stop and turned around to fly out. However, at this moment, the Nether King stepped out. He sneered and said, Since you're here, don't think of leaving. Nether King heaven-shattering technique. The Nether King made his move, and he turned into a black light ball that flew towards this terrifying existence. Nether King, You think you can keep me here? What a joke. If we really fight, I'm not afraid of you. This terrifying existence sneered as he started to prepare a powerful divine ability. Myriad gods shattering the firmament. 10,000 gods appeared behind this existence. These gods were all titled gods, and each of them was stronger than the other. They were so terrifying that it was shocking. The 10,000 gods quickly pounced towards the Nether King. Bang! Accompanied by an earth-shaking explosion, the attacks of the two sides collided. Neither of their attacks could do anything to the other. In the end, they were evenly matched. Lin Feng was shocked. This terrifying existence was indeed powerful. Just as he said, he was not afraid of the Nether King. Therefore, it would be extremely difficult for the Nether King to defeat him. I know your origin. I also know what kind of person you were in your previous life. You want to use the water of destiny to break free from your current shackles, but the one thing you should never should have done was to target me. The Nether King's voice was cold as he walked towards this terrifying existence. You know my identity? This terrifying existence was very surprised, and he frowned slightly. He did not expect the Nether King to know his identity. However, he quickly sneered. So what if I target you? The current you. To me, you're not a threat at all. This existence was very confident in his own strength, and he did not respect the Nether King at all. I'll let you have a taste of my ultimate skill. The Nether King sneered. 6. Paths of Reincarnation. Following that, a low voice came from the Nether King's throat. As his voice fell, 6 huge black holes appeared behind the Nether King. Every black hole was distorting the void. The 6 huge black holes seemed to be connected to the 6 paths of reincarnation. The 6 huge black holes were mysterious, ancient, immortal, and gave off an ancient aura. 6 paths of reincarnation. It was actually the 6 paths of reincarnation. This was the supreme ultimate skill of the human race. Human cultivators who knew the 6 paths of reincarnation were as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns. 6 paths of reincarnation? You actually know the 6 paths of reincarnation? How is this possible? Didn't they say that only humans could cultivate the 6 paths of reincarnation? Other races. It's impossible for them to cultivate the 6 paths of reincarnation. The terrifying existence cried out in horror. Although I was a member of the Nether King clan in my previous life, my mother was a human. A portion of the human race's blood flows in my veins. Naturally, I can cultivate this divine ability. The Nether King's voice was cold. The 6 black holes headed straight for the terrifying being. Run, run, run. The terrifying existence quickly fled into the distance. He did not have the courage to fight the Nether King at all. He used his speed to the extreme. However, he still could not escape. The 6 black holes created by the 6 paths reincarnation were too terrifying, and the 6 black holes slammed into the terrifying existence's body. Chapter 3906. What a powerful ability! Yi Futian murmured. Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. He knew how powerful that terrifying existence was, but under the attack of the 6 paths of reincarnation, it couldn't even withstand a single blow. It was simply too shocking. Previously, Lin Feng had seen Duguya use the 6 paths of reincarnation. However, Duguya wanted Lin Feng to walk his own path, so he didn't impart this ability to him. This was definitely one of the strongest abilities in the history of the human race. I'm not willing to die like this. I'm not willing to die like this. I've already died once. It wasn't easy for me to condense Ein's spirit body. If the Ein's spirit body I condense dies again, then I'll really die. Heaven and earth. No one will be able to save me. Furthermore, I won't be able to condense a new Ein's spirit body. After his body exploded, the terrifying existence didn't die. He continued to roar as his body split into millions of clones. Those millions of clones rushed out together. As long as one clone escaped, he wouldn't die. However, at this moment, the 6 black holes formed by the 6 paths of reincarnation emitted an extremely terrifying devouring power. The powerful devouring power directly enveloped the tens of thousands of doppelgangers formed by the terrifying existence's body. Those millions of clones were all devoured by the 6 black holes. Following that, the 6 black holes disappeared. The ball of energy that enveloped the water of destiny flew back into the Nether King's hand. Following that, a ball of soul origin energy flew back into the Nether King's hand. Take it. Scram. The Nether King tossed the ball of soul origin energy to Lin Feng and said coldly, "Thank you very much, Your Excellency King of Hell," said Lin Feng, hastily putting away the original strength of his soul. Woo woo woo. The Nether King actually squatted on the ground and cried. She cried very sadly. Her cries were heart-wrenching. "What's wrong with you?" Lin Feng asked. Scram, scram, scram. The Nether King stood up, her face full of tears. She waved her sleeves, and a powerful force wrapped around Lin Feng's body, sending Lin Feng flying. Lin Feng's body flew out of the Devil Mountain uncontrollably. "I won't be able to see him again. I won't be able to see him again." The Nether King's voice was filled with sorrow. Plop. Lin Feng fell into the forest. "Ouch. It hurts. Bitch," cried Lin Feng. He hastily stood up and rubbed his buttocks. He had fallen into the 8th Devil Mountain. Lin Feng heard some light footsteps in the forest. Lin Feng immediately became vigilant. This place was a land of death, so they couldn't be careless with even the slightest movement. Otherwise, he might lose his life in such a dangerous place. Soon, terrifying creatures emerged from the forest. "Why are you guys here?" Lin Feng looked at the 4 terrifying creatures in shock. These 4 existences. They were none other than the 4 netherworld messengers that Lin Feng had met a long time ago. Panda, the overlord of the 3 beasts, Zhu Yin, and Hell Demon. Back then, he was able to become a netherworld messenger because he followed Panda and the others to escort in spirits into the underworld. Panda recommended him to become a netherworld messenger. Of course, Panda and the others didn't become netherworld messengers because they liked the position. Instead, these guys wanted to enter the underworld to steal some treasures or excavate some ancient tombs in the underworld. Previously, when Lin Feng entered the underworld with the 4 of them, he took advantage of the battle between the Black Hell Demon King and the Skeleton Evil King to sneak into their lair and steal their treasures. Now, the Black Hell Demon King and the Skeleton Evil King were still looking for Lin Feng and the other 4. Panda said, "We are here to do a mission. I heard that you were wanted by the underworld. What a pity. We can't enter the underworld to do missions together." It seemed that Panda and the others had also heard that he was wanted by the underworld. "Did I implicate you guys?" Lin Feng asked. After all, it was Panda and the others who recommended him to become a netherworld messenger. Panda said, "We were investigated and monitored for a while, but there are no problems now." Lin Feng said, "That's good." Then, he laughed and said, "Actually, I can still enter the underworld to do missions." "Oh? What do you mean?" Panda and the others looked at Lin Feng in confusion. Lin Feng flicked his finger, and a purple gold netherworld token flew out. "Hey, you actually have such a high-level netherworld token on you? This is a netherworld token. It is not given to us soul ferrymen. It is only given to netherworld messengers from the underworld." Zhu Yin said in shock. Lin Feng said, "Previously, I killed a netherworld messenger and snatched his token. Then, I used a special method to imprint my information on this token. I replaced him and became the new netherworld messenger." "Kid, your methods are really brilliant. I'm impressed." Panda immediately gave him a thumbs up. Then, he said, "This is not the place to talk. Let's leave this place first." Lin Feng nodded and left this land of death with Panda and the others. They arrived outside the land of death. "You seem to be related to the 8th Netherworld King?" Panda asked curiously. "The 8th Netherworld King? That female Netherworld King is the 8th Netherworld King? My ancestor is related to her," Lin Feng said. "So that's how it is." Panda nodded. "How much do you know about the 8th Netherworld King?" Lin Feng asked curiously. Panda said, "The 8th Netherworld King is said to have a partial human bloodline. That's why she was rejected by the underworld. However, she received the support of the previous Netherworld King. She even inherited the position of Netherworld King. However, I don't know what happened after that. The 8th Netherworld King disappeared without a trace. It seems like she has fallen. However, in the underworld, there is also the ancient city where the 8th Netherworld King used to live. That ancient city is now in ruins. Moreover, it seems to have been cursed. Therefore, even the beings of the underworld do not dare to casually approach that ancient city. Lin Feng said, "Can you bring me to that ancient city to take a look? I plan to enter it and find out what happened between her and my ancestor." Panda said, "Of course, no problem. 3 days later, we will enter the underworld again." Next, the few of them rested in a valley. Lin Feng trusted Panda and the other 3 very much. Therefore, in front of them, he could let down his guard. Lin Feng took out the soul origin that the Netherworld King had given him. Chapter 3907. Lin Feng's soul had been hovering at the peak of the Boundary Emperor realm. It was too difficult for him to break through to the Emperor realm. Lin Feng had been trying to break through but failed in the end. But now, Lin Feng saw hope. Lin Feng had obtained the original soul of that terrifying existence. That terrifying existence belonged to the Yin spirit attribute. It didn't have a physical body and naturally didn't have a great Tao origin. Lin Feng realized that the Nether King treated him quite well. He even gave that fellow's soul origin to him. It seemed that the Nether King and his ancestor truly loved each other. Lin Feng began to refine that terrifying existence's soul origin. A large amount of soul origin was refined by Lin Feng. Lin Feng's soul power began to increase. This increase naturally made Lin Feng ecstatic. Lin Feng felt that perhaps he could use this opportunity to push his soul power to the Emperor realm in one fell swoop. Now that Lin Feng's physical body had reached the Emperor realm, if his soul power also reached the Emperor realm, it would be a huge improvement for Lin Feng. Actually, the hardest thing for a cultivator to improve was the soul. Next was the physical body. Finally, it was one's own realm. There was a reason for this. Because there were too few treasures that could help Lin Feng improve his soul power, most people relied on their own cultivation to improve their soul power. It was the same for the physical body. There were many things that could improve one's realm. For example, immortal stones, various heaven and earth origins, treasures, and so on. If Lin Feng's soul power could quickly reach the Emperor realm, then Lin Feng's own realm would improve much faster. Moreover, unlike others, he wouldn't encounter a realm barrier. After cultivating for 2 days, Lin Feng's soul power finally broke through to the Emperor realm. In the end, it stopped at the 5th heaven of the Emperor realm. Lin Feng was extremely happy. This time, he had gained a lot of benefits from practicing cultivation. After waiting for another day, everyone set off for the underworld. This time, Panda and the others were escorting an ancient corpse that had just been born from one of the 9 demonic mountains. The origin of this Yin spirit was extremely great. It was said that it had a close relationship with one of the big shots in the underworld. Therefore, after this Yin spirit was born, it was asked to be sent to the underworld. Because this Yin spirit had just been born, it was full of killing intent. He still doesn't have the ability to think. If I send him to hell, perhaps the bigwigs of hell will have a way to help this terrifying Yin spirit recover some of his memories. Of course, these things were not the concern of Cat Bear and the others. They had completed their task after sending the Yin spirit back. Let the subsequent events unfold as they please. The Yin spirit was sucked into a gourd by Panda Cat. The Yin spirit couldn't break out of the gourd, so keeping it inside would save Lin Feng and the others a lot of trouble along the way. Lin Feng, Panda, and the others entered the passageway to the underworld. This passageway was near the Death Impasse. In recent years, the Netherworld has also changed a lot. Many of the forces in the underworld had self-proclaimed experts. However, those self-proclaimed experts have now come out of the divine stones. Panda Cat said, this situation was the same as in the world of the living. The appearance of the Deva's decay forced those self-proclaimed experts to come out. The emergence of those experts was bound to cause unrest. Is the underworld getting more and more chaotic now? Lin Feng could not help but frown slightly and ask. Yes, the underworld is indeed getting more and more chaotic now. Many of the major forces are fighting for territory and resources. Some of the major forces have even been wiped out. There are many powerful forces in the 33 layers of the underworld. Since the first underworld king, the 32 layers of the underworld have been in a state of being sealed. However, after the appearance of the Davis decay, the seal of the 32 layers of the underworld has been broken. Panda Cat continued, "Why seal the 32 layers of the underworld below?" Lin Feng asked, puzzled. "The Hell-Fiend Beast knows more about this than I do," Panda Cat said. The Hell-Fiend Beast said, "This matter is related to some secrets. At the very beginning, some extremely terrifying living beings resided in the netherworld, and there were numerous lost races and otherworldly beings amongst these living beings. This is because some of the nomological forces in the underworld can help the lost races of the epoch resist the weakening of their strength by the new era. The reason why so many otherworldly creatures appear in the underworld is because many places in the underworld are connected to the otherworldly space-time. Those otherworldly creatures often appear in the underworld from the otherworldly space-time, and then enter other worlds from the underworld. Therefore, the first underworld king joined forces with many experts to seal the other 32 layers of the underworld. He sealed the lost tribes of the epoch and the otherworldly creatures so that they couldn't come out and wreak havoc in the universe. The sealing of the 32 layers of the underworld was not successful. Many experts fell. It is said that even the fall of the first underworld king was related to the sealing of the 32 layers of the underworld. Even now, the seal of the 32 layers of the underworld is still there. It is just that part of the seal has been destroyed. However, now that the end of the world has arrived, the underworld does not intend to continue strengthening the seal because the people of the underworld want to enter the other layers of the underworld to search for more opportunities. Lin Feng nodded. The underworld's actions were understandable. This was because once the apocalypse arrived, the number of people who could survive would be few and far between. Therefore, at this time, the key was to seize resources, magic treasures, orthodoxies, and so on to improve one's strength. Only when one was strong enough could one survive the end of the world. Lin Feng said, "All the major forces have started to prepare for the end of the world war." Panda Cat said, "Yes, we have to prepare early because no one can say when the end of the world will come. It could be 100 years later or 1,000 years later. However, it could also be tomorrow. No matter when, there is one thing that can be confirmed. The end of the world. It is not far away. It will not come again in tens of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years." Lin Feng said, "Everything has to be prepared for a rainy day, or else, when the time comes, if we are not prepared, when the time comes, we will be powerless." One day later, Lin Feng's group of 5 entered the underworld. Since he was wanted by the underworld, Lin Feng had not come to the underworld again. Now, he finally came to the underworld again. Chapter 3908. The 5 of them flew quickly in the underworld. They planned to go to the underworld to complete their mission first. Then, they would go to the ancient city where the 8th generation underworld king lived. Not long after, Lin Feng and the others heard earth-shaking shouts that resounded through the clouds. 2 armies were engaged in a great battle. The sky was dark, and there were underworld cultivators everywhere. Roar! A loud dragon roar resounded through the clouds. It was a bone dragon. Now that it had soared into the sky, its aura was shocking. There was a skeleton cultivator standing on top of the bone dragon. It was actually the skeleton evil lord. In the other camp, a terrifying creature with a human body, a dragon tail, and a scorpion head soared into the sky. It fought with the skeleton evil lord who was riding the bone dragon. The sky darkened, and the sun and moon lost their light. Lin Feng had some understanding of the skeleton evil lord, but he didn't know anything about the other existence. That existence was probably an overlord-level existence. The underworld was originally very chaotic, and now those experts who were sealed in the God's Stone had come out. The underworld was even more chaotic. Lin Feng and the others bypassed this battlefield and continued to travel deeper. Along the way, Lin Feng constantly used the ghost raising jar to devour all kinds of spirits and ghosts to nurture the 2 ghost emperors. The underworld was definitely the best place to nurture the two ghost emperors. Here, the two ghost emperors could quickly increase their realm. Half a month later, endless ghost chi appeared in front of them. In the endless ghost chi, a terrifying ghost was besieging a woman. To be more precise, the woman was also a ghost. However, she was extremely beautiful and did not match the ugly ghosts that were usually seen. Along the way, Lin Feng and the others saw many battles, so they were already used to it. The powerful creatures of the underworld devoured each other in order to completely transform and evolve. So, there were often powerful creatures of the underworld who would engage in life and death battles. This was different from the world of the living. The experts of the world of the living were divided clearly. If there was no grudge, there would rarely be a life and death battle. Lin Feng and the others naturally followed the principle of the less trouble the better. They did not intend to get involved in this matter. However, when Lin Feng saw the female cultivator of the underworld being besieged, a surprised expression appeared on his face. Female Ghost King. It was the female Ghost King. This female Ghost King had appeared when Lin Feng and the Empress were searching for nuance orthodoxy. The female Ghost King was also a pitiful person in her previous life. She was originally a peerless beauty with countless pursuers. Later on, she fell in love with a man. Who would have thought that that man was just using her? Because of that man, she even broke away from her family. But after that man had used her, he dug out her heart. After her death, her resentment did not dissipate, and she eventually became the female Ghost King. The female Ghost King gave off a cold, bloodthirsty, and cruel vibe. However, Lin Feng had interacted with the female Ghost King a few times, so Lin Feng knew that the female Ghost King was actually very kind. However, she needed to intimidate other living beings, so she had to be very ruthless. Otherwise, a living being like her would easily become the prey of others. I met an old friend. The person being besieged is an old friend of mine. Let's go help her, Lin Feng said. TSK, TSK. It's such a coincidence to meet an old friend in this godforsaken place. She seems to be a female ghost, and she's quite pretty, Panda Cat said with a smile. Zhu Yin teased him. Boss Panda, there's a deeper meaning to your words. Are you trying to say that Lin Feng's taste is so extreme that he won't even let a female ghost go? Lin Feng immediately rolled his eyes. These guys could not say anything good, and each one was more sarcastic than the other. Of course, Lin Feng had long gotten used to the way they interacted with each other. Although these guys had nasty mouths, they were all very nice people. They were also very friendly with Lin Feng. Lin Feng's group of 5 quickly flew toward the female Ghost King. The female Ghost King, who was being besieged by a group of underworld beings, was not in a very good situation. It was difficult for 2 fists to fight against 4 hands, not to mention that there were so many of them. The female Ghost King tried to break out of the encirclement several times, but she failed every time. At that moment, the female Ghost King saw Lin Feng and the others, and her eyes immediately lit up. Panda Cat, Zhu Yin, the Hell Demon Beast, and the 3 overlords of the ferocious beasts. The female Ghost King did not know the 4 of them, but she knew Lin Feng. Soon, Lin Feng's group of 5 joined the battle. After the 5 of them joined the battle, the situation immediately changed. The group of underworld beings besieging the female Ghost King was somewhat unable to withstand the attacks of Lin Feng and the others. 5 underworld envoys. We are from the 1,000 Ghost Mountain range. This place has nothing to do with you. Leave quickly, or else disaster will befall you. The leading cultivator roared furiously. Lin Feng had heard of the 1,000 Ghost Mountain range. It was a powerful force in the first heaven of the underworld. This force was extremely terrifying and even dared to challenge the underworld. So what if it's the 1,000 Ghost Mountain range? You will be the ones to be annihilated. Lin Feng sneered. Activate the 5-kill tablet and kill these guys, Panda Cat shouted in a deep voice. Swish, swish, swish. There was a flash of light. The 5-kill tablet was activated. When the 5-kill tablet was combined, it formed a cycle of 5 elements, and its power would increase crazily. Moreover, the 5-kill tablet itself was extremely harmful to the underworld beings. Under the activation of Lin Feng and the others, The power of the 5-kill tablet increased crazily again. Therefore, the underworld beings could not withstand the attacks of Lin Feng and the others. Bang, 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 bang. Along with a series of violent collisions, the 5-kill tablet slammed into the bodies of the underworld cultivators. In an instant, the bodies of the underworld cultivators exploded. The underworld cultivators were annihilated on the spot. Run! The leading underworld cultivator roared in a deep voice and wanted to escape with the others. However, it was too late. Lin Feng, Panda Cat, and the other three activated the 5-kill tablet together. The 5-kill tablet enveloped them and merged into one in midair. Its power increased again. The 5-kill tablet fell from the sky and killed the underworld beings. Bang, bang, bang. One by one, the bodies of the underworld beings exploded. The leading underworld being roared in resentment. Even if you are the underworld envoys, you will die for interfering with the affairs of the 1,000 Ghost Mountain Range. As soon as he finished speaking, the 5-kill tablet had already smashed into his body, and the underworld creature's soul was scattered. Then, Lin Feng and the other four retrieved their 5-kill tablets. Chapter 3909. Lin Feng said, I killed a netherworld emissary and used his identity. Hearing this, the female ghost king revealed an expression of disbelief. She then rolled her eyes and said, You're still as bold as ever. Why are you in the underworld? Didn't you go looking for that heartless guy? Did you find him? Lin Feng asked. A sea of people. It wasn't easy to find that guy. However, I obtained some clues. That guy seems to be in the underworld, so I thought of a way to come to the underworld. A few days ago, when I passed by the 10,000 Ghost Mountain Range, I saw 9 purple lights descending from the depths of the 10,000 Ghost Mountain Range. Those 9 purple lights vaguely transformed into 9 fruits. It seemed to be the legendary purple brilliant immortal fruit. I wanted to explore it to see if it was the real purple brilliant immortal fruit, but I was discovered by the people of the 1,000 Ghost Mountain Range. I had no choice but to run away, but those people chased me all the way. Thank goodness you guys are here. Otherwise, I'd be dead, the Ghost King said with lingering fear. Lin Feng asked, Purple brilliant immortal fruit? What kind of fruit is that? Rumor has it that it's a kind of immortal fruit formed by the fusion of the underworld's origin energy with the purple brilliant energy born from the sun. After refining it, it can greatly increase one's cultivation. It's an extremely rare treasure of heaven and earth. Hearing that, Lin Feng could not help but be delighted. The purple brilliant immortal fruit was a treasure of heaven and earth that could increase one's cultivation. Such a treasure of heaven and earth was extremely rare. Lin Feng now needed some opportunities to help him continue to break through. If he could obtain the purple brilliant immortal fruit, he might be able to complete the breakthrough. Snatch their purple brilliant immortal fruit, Zhu Yin said. Panda Cat raised his eyebrows and said, It's not that easy to snatch their purple brilliant immortal fruit. The 1,000 Ghost Mountain Range is full of experts. I heard that 7 or 8 experts who sealed themselves in godstones walked out. Lin Feng was shocked. 7 or 8 experts who sealed themselves in godstones walked out. The 1,000 Ghost Mountain Range was too powerful. Actually, the 1,000 Ghost Mountain Range doesn't have such experts guarding it anymore, the Ghost King said. Oh, why is that? Panda asked in surprise. The female Ghost King says, This is because some of the top powers in the underworld have joined forces to besiege the underworld. They want to enter the 18 levels of hell and explore its secrets. The 18 levels of hell were one of the greatest secrets of the netherworld. It was rumored that the 6 paths of reincarnation were located in the depths of the 18 layers of hell. To the people of the mortal realm, the 18 levels of hell, the 6 paths of reincarnation, and so on were all myths and legends. Actually, to the creatures of the underworld, this was also a myth and legend. Ordinary people would not be able to come into contact with things like the 18 layers of hell and the 6 paths of reincarnation. Has hell already weakened to this extent? Lin Feng said. The female Ghost King said, Actually, the underworld is reaping what it sowed. When the 32 underworld seals are loosening, hell can reinforce the seals. But the underworld didn't do that, because the underworld was eyeing the resources of the 32 underworlds below. Some of the seals in the 32 layers of the underworld are beginning to shatter. As a result, some of the forces below began to appear in the first layer of the underworld. For the first few years, everyone was living in peace. The underworld also gained a lot of benefits from the 32 layers of the underworld. But as time passed, problems began to arise. Some of the forces in the first layer of the underworld went to discuss with some of the forces in the 32 layers of the underworld a plan to explore the 18 layers of hell. In the end, this plan was approved by some of the forces. So these forces joined forces and planned to attack hell. The Thousand Ghost Mountain Range was one of the participants. Other than the 3 experts guarding the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range, the other experts all went to hell. I see. Lin Feng and the rest nodded. The current situation in the underworld was so chaotic that everyone was in danger. Even the top forces of hell had people who dared to besiege them. How audacious! They wondered if hell would be destroyed by these forces. Lin Feng was not concerned about this. Lin Feng's only concern was that they were now heading to the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range. With the strength of Lin Feng and the rest, it was indeed possible for them to snatch the brilliant purple immortal spiritual fruits. Let's go. Let's go to the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range, Lin Feng said. Panda Cat and the rest naturally agreed to this suggestion. In the past, Panda Cat and the rest loved to snatch some treasures or excavate some ancient tombs. The reason why Panda Cat and the rest cultivation had improved so quickly was because they had obtained so many good things in the underworld. Moreover, they were not afraid of offending the major forces of the underworld because they were underworld envoys. If they offended the major forces of the underworld, they could just leave the underworld. After all, it was very difficult for the forces of the underworld to enter the world of the living. Therefore, even though the forces of the underworld were gnashing their teeth in hatred, they could do nothing to Panda Cat and the rest. When Lin Feng and the rest arrived at the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range, they found that the mountain range was filled with Een spirits and evil spirits. However, these Een spirits and evil spirits were more like rogue cultivators of the underworld. Why are there so many ghosts here? Lin Feng asked, puzzled. The female Ghost King said, the underworld is in chaos. Wars are everywhere. Especially after those experts sealed in the divine stones came out, it became even more chaotic. I think the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range is trying to recruit more underworld cultivators. They should form an army of underworld soldiers in the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range. The female Ghost King's analysis was very reasonable. Lin Feng also felt that it was very possible. Let's force our way in, Lin Feng said. Hee, I like to do things that are a little pretentious. Panda Cat grinned. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Following that, a group of people soared into the sky, and a terrifying aura spread out. Hey look, aren't those underworld envoys? They look like underworld envoys of the mortal world, not our underworld envoys. There seems to be a female ghost mixed in with these underworld envoys. What kind of team is this? The underworld is being attacked by 18 armies. As underworld envoys, they actually dare to appear so openly. Aren't they courting death? The flesh of these underworld envoys smells so good. I can't wait to have a taste of their flesh. The terrifying existences let out eerie voices as they looked at Lin Feng, Panda Cat, and the rest of the 5 underworld envoys. Their eyes were filled with endless malevolence. Screech. Many ghosts screeched as they charged toward Lin Feng and the rest. Chapter 39:10. You don't know what's good for you. Lin Feng and the others made their move. With a wave of their hands, divine light surged, and huge energy palms formed in the air. They charged towards those terrifying existences. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, a series of violent explosions were heard. The ghosts that pounced on Lin Feng and the others exploded, their souls dissipating on the spot. When the other monsters saw how powerful Lin Feng and the others were, they trembled in fear, not daring to move. Lin Feng's group and the female Ghost King quickly flew toward the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range. Who dares trespass on the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range? Are you tired of living? A cold voice rang out from the Thousand Ghost Mountain range. Hundreds of underworld cultivators flew out from the Thousand Ghost Mountain range. The one who spoke was the leader, an Emperor-level cultivator. However, he was only a First Heaven Emperor-level cultivator. The Emperor of Yin Mountain is here. The Emperor of Yin Mountain is here personally. Those guys are dead for sure. That's right. They'll become food for the Emperor of Yin Mountain, the crowd of underworld cultivators said. In the eyes of the underworld cultivators, Lin Feng and the others were doomed. Anyone who dared to cause trouble in the Thousand Ghost Mountain range would die. There was no chance of survival. Where's the brilliant purple immortal fruit? Hand it over, and I'll spare your life. Otherwise, I'll kill you again. Lin Feng looked at the Emperor of Yin Mountain indifferently. When Lin Feng said that, the atmosphere suddenly became deathly silent. The densely packed cultivators of the underworld thought that they had misheard. A young human cultivator dared to be so impudent in front of the Emperor of Yin Mountain. Was there something wrong with this guy's brain? So what if he was an underworld envoy? He was still as weak as an ant in front of the Emperor of Yin Mountain. You're courting death. You're courting death. You're courting death. Emperor Yin Shan was so angry that he was trembling all over. A powerful existence like him had been humiliated by a young human cultivator. This was a great humiliation. Emperor Yin Shan. How could he endure such humiliation? The Emperor of Yin Mountain's murderous intent towards Lin Feng soared to the heavens. The Emperor of Yin Mountain glanced coldly at the female Ghost King. Clearly, he recognized her identity. Then, he looked at Lin Feng and sneered. A few ants who don't know the difference between life and death. Today, all of you will become my food. Let's start with you. It's been a long time since I've tasted human flesh. The Emperor of Yin Mountain flew towards Lin Feng as soon as he finished speaking. Then, he opened his hand and slammed it towards Lin Feng. Ant-like thing. How dare you be impudent in front of me? Lin Feng looked coldly at the Emperor of Yin Mountain. Lin Feng also made his move and similarly struck out with his palm. A giant energy palm formed in the void and blasted toward the Emperor of Yin Mountain. Emperor Yin Shan's fist collided with Lin Feng's energy palm. Then, the Emperor of Yin Mountain was sent flying as if he had been struck by lightning. When they saw this, the densely packed underworld cultivators revealed looks of disbelief. The Emperor of Yin Mountain was a terrifying existence who stood at the pinnacle of the underworld. A powerhouse that countless people looked up to. But he couldn't even take a single hit from that young human cultivator. This was too unbelievable. What cultivation level was that young human cultivator at? What shocking background did he have? One question after another floated in everyone's mind, leaving them puzzled. Everyone wanted to know Lin Feng's identity, but no one knew Lin Feng's background. After sending the Emperor of Yin Mountain flying with a single blow, Lin Feng immediately used the 8 divine seals. Countless formation runes began to materialize, and all of them began to wrap around the Emperor of Yin Mountain. The Emperor of Yin Mountain wanted to dispel the Emperor runes, but it was easier said than done. In the end, the Emperor of Yin Mountain was sealed by Lin Feng's 8 divine seals. Lin Feng took out the ghost cultivation jar and threw the Emperor of Yin Mountain inside, allowing the 2 ghost emperors to devour him. Strong. He's too strong. Everyone looked on in shock. Lin Feng's battle prowess had deeply shocked everyone present. Lin Feng and the others continued to fly deeper into the Thousand Ghost Mountain range. No one dared to stop Lin Feng and the others. Soon, Lin Feng and the others arrived at the deepest part of the Thousand Ghost Mountain range. Who are you people? 2 cultivators flew out, shrouded in ghostly qi. One was dressed in gray robes and the other in green, but it was impossible to see what they looked like. However, their auras were much stronger than the Emperor of Yin Mountains. They were probably the other 2 Emperor-level powerhouses overseeing the Thousand Ghost Mountain range. We're the Netherworld Messengers, Lin Feng said calmly. The 2 Emperor-level powerhouses looked gloomy. They knew that the identity of the Netherworld Messengers was just a cover. Lin Feng did not want to tell them his true identity. Panda said, "Hurry up and hand over the purple brilliant immortal fruit. We don't have the patience to waste time with you. If you don't hand it over, we'll kill the 2 of you together." Shameless boasting. If we really fight, it's hard to say who will win. The two Emperor-level powerhouses said gloomily. The two Emperor-level powerhouses had a high cultivation level. Moreover, they relied on the restrictions of the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range and the army of Netherworld soldiers stationed there. Therefore, they were not afraid of Lin Feng and the others. Said Lin Feng, smiling coldly. I know what you're thinking, but what you're relying on is useless against us. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng waved his hand. Suddenly, a shocking scene occurred. The restrictions of the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range were all activated. Surprisingly, Lin Feng was the one who controlled those deployment spells. Lin Feng could control the restrictions of the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range. These restrictions could withstand the attack of the army of Netherworld soldiers. Lin Feng and the others could besiege the two Emperor-level powerhouses. The two Emperor-level powerhouses of the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range obviously understood this. Heaven-seizing technique. You're the successor of the Celestial Master Sect, the gray-robed emperor said with a gloomy face. You're really knowledgeable. You even know that I'm the successor of the Celestial Master Sect. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. Here, take it. The green-robed emperor took out 6 purple brilliant immortal fruits and handed them to Lin Feng. The other 3 had been refined by the 3 Emperor-level powerhouses overseeing the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range. Let's go. After Lin Feng took the purple brilliant immortal fruits, he left the place with Panda Cat, Female Ghost King, and the others. Damn it, damn it. These people are trying to extort us. The gray-robed emperor roared angrily. His face was extremely ugly. The green-robed emperor said, after the third ancestor of the Earth Master Sect fell, he awakened his spiritual consciousness. He turned into a zombie. Moreover, he's one of the top 10 zombie experts in the underworld. His strength has been close to that of an immortal for a long time. We can tell the third ancestor of the Earth Master Sect about this kid. Chapter 39:11. After leaving the Thousand Ghost Mountain Range, Lin Feng and the rest quickly flew towards the depths. On the way, Lin Feng distributed the 6 purple brilliant immortal spiritual fruits to everyone. It was just nice that the 6 of them had one each. Refining the purple brilliant immortal spiritual fruit would definitely bring great benefits to their cultivation. However, they would only know how much their strength would increase after refining the purple brilliant immortal spiritual fruit. The 6 of them found a mountain range and opened up a cave abode. Then, Lin Feng sealed the cave abode with a restriction. Then, the 6 of them entered. Now, Lin Feng's realm had stopped at the 9th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. One more step and he would reach the 10th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. If he could break through to the 10th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm, Lin Feng would start accumulating his strength. Breaking through from the Imperial Emperor realm to the Emperor realm was a rather difficult step. It was very difficult to break through. Therefore, at this time, he needed to constantly accumulate his strength. However, before that, he would only be able to accumulate his strength if he wanted to break through to the 10th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. Lin Feng ate the purple brilliant immortal spiritual fruit. Then, Lin Feng began to circulate the archaic dragonesque elephant art. Lin Feng gradually refined the medicinal power of the purple brilliant immortal spiritual fruit. The powerful medicinal power was helping Lin Feng to break through to a higher realm. 3 days later, Lin Feng finally completed his breakthrough. His realm had broken through from the 9th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm to the 10th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. Lin Feng was extremely satisfied that a purple brilliant immortal spiritual fruit could achieve such a breakthrough. Next, it was time to accumulate his strength. Panda Cat and the rest were still cultivating. Lin Feng did not disturb them. In the next few days, Panda Cat and the rest also came out of seclusion one after another. Everyone had gained a lot of benefits, so everyone was overjoyed. The Hell Demon Beast said, "Now that the 18 armies are surrounding the underworld, are we still going to get involved?" Panda Cat said, "It's good to go and watch the show." Lin Feng nodded. He also planned to watch the battle. Lin Feng wanted to see if the underworld would be destroyed by the 18 armies. Everyone quickly came to an agreement and continued to fly in the direction of hell. After about 10 days, Lin Feng and the others finally arrived at the underworld. When they arrived, they saw a black mass of cultivators that blotted out the sky. Under the leadership of the emperors, the 18 armies had already gathered outside the underworld. They surrounded hell so tightly that not even a drop of water could pass through. There were still some cultivators from the Netherworld realm watching the battle in the outer regions. There were also Netherworld envoys like Lin Feng and company. They were all paying attention to the situation in the Netherworld realm. Woo 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 woo. The sound of the bugle horn resounded through the heavens and the earth as the 18 armies charged forward. This is already the 36th charge. Hell has been holed up all this time. I don't know what they're doing. The underworld, under the rule of the 10 kings of hell, is unable to withstand the might of 18 armies. Looking at the current situation, they probably want to defend to the death. The 10 kings of hell were also titled gods, but the current 10 kings of hell were pseudo-titled gods. This was because they were not the 10 kings of hell that were conferred by the investiture of the gods. They were merely cultivators of the underworld who had inherited this title. Their combat strength was naturally far inferior to those titled gods. The 18 armies charged forward once again. Numerous hell trolls that were 10,000 meters tall arrived outside the underworld realm's defensive walls with giant hammers in their hands. They swung their giant hammers and hammered at the defensive walls one after another. Numerous magic treasures bombarded the defensive walls one after another. Although the defensive restrictions on the defensive walls were powerful, after blocking more than 30 attacks from the 18 armies, they were on the verge of collapsing. Kacha-kacha sounds could be heard. The restrictions on the defensive walls began to shatter. Ha 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 ha, the restrictions are about to be destroyed. If we put in more effort, we will be able to destroy the restrictions and slaughter our way into the underworld. Once we destroy the underworld, we will destroy the 6 paths of reincarnation. In the future, all of us will be immortal. We won't have to suffer the pain of the 6 paths of reincarnation anymore. Loud laughter suddenly rang out. The experts of the 18 armies were boosting the morale of the army. After being encouraged by these experts, the morale of the 18 armies rose, and the strength of their attacks became even more ferocious. Boom, boom, boom. Earth-shaking shockwaves swept through heaven and earth. The terrifying attacks shook the void, as though they could shatter billions of universes and destroy billions of worlds. Finally, the restrictions on the defensive walls of the underworld realm could no longer withstand the attacks of the 18 armies. Kacha, kacha, the restrictions shattered. The restrictions are destroyed. Kill, slaughter our way into the underworld realm and massacre the underworld. The experts of the 18 armies roared. The 18 armies consisted of several top forces from the first layer of the underworld, as well as some powerful forces from the 32nd layer of the underworld. These forces included otherworldly beings, remnant races of the epoch, and other races of the underworld. There were more than 120 imperial lords. Many of them were experts who had broken through the godstones and walked out of the sealed godstones. Their cultivation bases were extremely heaven-defying. There were even a few who were close to immortality. Kill! Earth-shaking battle cries resounded through the clouds as the 18 armies charged into the underworld realm. The cultivators of the underworld realm also charged out and engaged in a fierce battle with the 18 armies. The outermost area of the underworld realm was an ancient city. The 10 Yama palaces were located in the deepest part of the ancient city. The forces of the underworld realm were unable to withstand the attacks of the 18 armies. Under the lead of 120 imperial lords, the 18 armies charged straight into the underworld realm. The ground was littered with corpses, and fresh blood dyed the underworld realm red. You actually set up an altar? What are you doing? Suddenly, an angry roar came from the depths of the underworld realm. Great son of the Lord of the underworld, please awaken. You will once again rule the underworld. Please punish these lowly beings who betrayed the underworld. Deep in the ancient city, 10 pious voices could be heard. These pious voices seemed to be the voices of the 10 Yama kings. They were awakening the son of the Lord of the underworld. Lin Feng was very surprised. He didn't know which Lord of the Underworld's son the 10 Yama kings had awakened. The 9th Lord of the Underworld was from one of the 5 great underworld clans. Moreover, It was said that the 5 great underworld clans weren't particularly harmonious. Their internal conflicts were fierce. Where there were people, there would be conflicts. The underworld realm was the same. The internal conflicts here were even more intense than the outside world. However, no matter how fierce the internal conflicts were, the son of the underworld lord that the 10 Yama kings had awakened clearly had the support of the underworld realm. Quick, stop them! The imperial lords of the 18 armies shouted anxiously. However, it was too late. A destructive aura came from the depths of the underworld realm. Who is calling for me to awaken? Then, Chapter 39:12. O great underworld child, you are the new 10 kings of hell. We are calling for you to awaken. The 10 kings of hell's voice was filled with sincerity. In the next moment, the altar in the depths of the underworld cracked open, and a powerful being flew out from the altar. It was the underworld child. Lin Feng had seen another young cultivator who called himself the underworld child before. The underworld child was young, but his combat strength was heaven-defying, and he was extremely talented. However, Lin Feng wasn't sure if the underworld child was the real underworld lord's son. If he was the underworld lord's son, which underworld lord's son was he? The underworld child has awakened. The sovereigns of the 18 armies looked at the awakened underworld child in horror. The underworld child was the son of the underworld lord. His bloodline was infinitely close to the underworld lords. One could imagine how terrifying his combat strength was. Even though the underworld child looked young and had been in a deep slumber for many years, his combat strength must have decreased greatly. However, these sovereigns were still very wary of the underworld child. Because, compared to their peak, the combat strength of these emperor-level experts had decreased significantly. However, they had the advantage in numbers. There were 120 sovereigns, while the underworld only had 10 sovereigns. Only the 10 kings of hell were left. Don't be afraid. He's just the underworld child. He's not the underworld lord. We have the advantage in numbers. Can't we deal with him alone? A peak emperor realm expert sneered. The monarch lord's words made the surrounding monarch lords feel a lot more at ease. That's right. They had 120 sovereigns on their side. What kind of power was this? There was no need to fear the underworld child. A bunch of ants trying to overthrow the underworld. Who gave you the courage? The underworld child looked at the group of monarch realm experts indifferently. He stepped forward. With him as the center, the void around him distorted violently. Attack together. Kill him. Kill. The group of Emperor Realm experts roared. The Monarch-level experts all made their moves. The combined attack of 120 Monarch-level experts was naturally an attack that would cause people to turn pale with fright. All kinds of treasures and divine abilities gathered together and attacked the underworld child. Humph. The nether child snorted coldly. He lightly pointed at the attacks of the 120 Monarch Masters. In an instant, the attacks of the 120 Monarch Lords were instantly shattered. Many of the Dharma treasures were also destroyed. After seeing this scene, everyone's face turned pale with fright. The Underworld Child's attacks were too powerful and terrifying. Underworld Child's Underworld Child Underworld Child's Underworld Child's Underworld. Underworld Child Underworld, however. It made people feel that it was inconceivable. Underworld Child muttered to himself. He took a step forward in the void, and a deep voice suddenly resounded between heaven and earth. Lowly creatures, you have blasphemed against the traditions of the underworld. You are destined to be exterminated by the order of the underworld. As soon as the underworld child finished speaking, the power of the order laws descended from the sky and blasted towards the 120 martial emperors. Break! The sovereign lord-level experts roared loudly. They attacked at the same time, wanting to destroy the underworld child's attack, but it was useless. The underworld child was too powerful. His attacks were simply unstoppable, destroying everything that stood in his way. If a god blocked his path, he would kill a god. If a Buddha blocked his path, he would kill a Buddha. The Underworld Child's attack broke through the Emperor Lord level cultivators, sacred arts, and defensive magic treasures before landing on their bodies. Bang, 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 then. A scene that made everyone turn pale with fright appeared. One by one, the bodies of the Monarch Realm cultivators exploded, and they died on the spot. Those sovereign masters were so weak in front of the Underworld Child. They couldn't even withstand a single blow. Really, it was unbelievable. Underworld Child should be at the Immortal Realm, right? Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. The Immortal Realm had surpassed the Martial Emperor Realm. Lin Feng didn't know much about the classification of immortals, but he had heard that there were true immortals and false immortals. The false immortals seemed to include the heaven, earth, man, and scattered immortals. The Underworld Child might be a false immortal. Spare us, great Underworld Child. We are willing to submit. Please spare our lives. Some of the stronger Emperor Lords weren't killed. They were only injured. These Emperor Lord level experts all knelt down and begged for mercy. The Emperor level experts knew that they were no match for the Underworld Child with their cultivation bases. They wanted to escape, but they couldn't. They could only beg the Underworld Child for mercy to save their lives. Submitting to someone stronger was a very common thing in the world of cultivators. It wasn't something to be ashamed of. Swear an oath. Give your soul to me. I will spare your lives. The Underworld Child looked at the 50 to 60 sovereign masters who were still alive and said, "Yes, yes, yes. We will swear an oath immediately." The group of sovereign masters hurriedly said, "We are willing to give our souls to Lord Underworld Child and swear on our souls that we will recognize Lord Underworld Child as our master. We will never betray Lord Underworld Child. If we dare to betray Lord Underworld Child, we will die a horrible death." The group of sovereign masters immediately swore an oath. In an instant, a mysterious connection was formed between these sovereign masters and the Underworld Child. They gave their souls to the Underworld Child, and from then on, they would become the Underworld Child's slaves. They couldn't have any thoughts of betraying the Underworld Child. If they dared to have such thoughts, they would definitely die. Good. Lead the army and retreat outside the Underworld for now. Listen to my orders at any time. The Underworld Child said. Yes, Master. Many Monarch Realm experts replied. Just as these people were about to lead their subordinates out of the city, a young man stepped through the air and arrived outside the city. It was a young man who looked to be about 16 or 17 years old. He had red lips and white teeth. He was very beautiful. If one looked closely, one would realize that this young man wasn't actually a young man. Instead, it was a woman disguised as a man. She had some small bells hanging from her waist. They seemed to be accessories. When she walked, they jingled. It was very pleasant to the ears. The Red World Fairy. Lin Feng's pupils contracted. It was the Red World Fairy. She had actually come here. The Red World Fairy. Chapter 39:13. Who are you? How dare you trespass into the underworld? One of the Yama lords shouted coldly, looking at the Red World Fairy with an indifferent expression. However, the Red World Fairy ignored the Yama lord's question. She continued walking towards Underworld Child. It seemed that the Red World Fairy's target was Underworld Child. Lin Feng already knew that the Red World Fairy had entered the underworld because the Red World Fairy seemed to be searching for something in the underworld. Now that he saw the Red World Fairy, Lin Feng was shocked because the Red World Fairy was searching for something in the underworld. You're courting death. Being ignored by the Red World Fairy made the Yama Lord very angry, and he sent a palm strike towards the Red World Fairy. A huge energy palm condensed in the void and blasted towards the Red World Fairy. The Red World Fairy waved her sleeve lightly, and the energy palm was instantly shattered. Even the Yama Lord who had attacked the Red World Fairy was sent flying. Both of them were sent flying by venerable red dust. The two of them were not on the same level at all. That Yama Lord was like an ant in front of the Red World Fairy. The 10 Yama Lords are all peak emperors, yet they couldn't even withstand a single blow from that woman. That woman's cultivation is so strong. The female Ghost King couldn't help but exclaim. Her eyes shone with envy. How she wished that she could be as strong as the Red World Fairy. Unfortunately, that was only her wishful thinking. Of course, anything could happen in life. She couldn't reach the Red World Fairy's level of cultivation now, but who knew if she could in the future? The Red World Fairy looked at Underworld Child and asked calmly, "Are you the one in charge?" Underworld Child frowned. He looked at the Red World Fairy and said, "I am." "Who are you?" "Who am I? You don't need to know. I need you to take me to a place," the Red World Fairy said. She spoke in an unquestionable tone. She was very domineering. Even when facing an expert like Underworld Child, her domineering attitude didn't change at all. This was the Red World Fairy. She had always been like this. "Be my woman. As long as you agree. Where do you want to go? I can take you there," Underworld Child said. He stared at the Red World Fairy with a burning gaze. He seemed to have taken a liking to the Red World Fairy. This bastard actually dares to snatch young master's woman? Lin Feng's asterisk 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 is asterisk 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 Lin Feng's star. He wanted nothing more than to trample Underworld Child beneath his feet and tell him about it from above. "How dare you snatch young master's woman?" But for now, Lin Feng could only dream about it. Underworld Child was too terrifying. Lin Feng and Underworld Child's cultivation were still quite far apart. "You don't have the right to be my man." The Red World Fairy didn't give Underworld Child any face as she spoke with an indifferent expression. "Whether I'm qualified or not, we'll know after we fight. You're a domineering woman. As for me, I'm the only son of the 4th Underworld King, Underworld Tiansu. I love subduing domineering women like you. It gives me a great sense of accomplishment," Underworld Child said with a smile before walking towards immortal venerable Hong Chan. This guy even revealed his background. He was actually the 4th generation Hell King. It seemed that he wasn't from the same clan as the 8th Underworld King. The 8th Underworld King and the 7th Underworld King were from the same clan. However, the 8th Underworld King's clan seemed to have disappeared without a trace. "Take a palm from me," Underworld Child said with an indifferent expression. He sent a palm strike towards the Red World Fairy. That terrifying palm strike contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. The Red World Fairy wasn't afraid at all. She sent out a palm strike as well. Bang! In the next moment, the Red World Fairy and Underworld Child's palms collided. That powerful attack caused the void to fluctuate violently. After the collision of palms, both sides retreated. The Red World Fairy is already so powerful? Lin Feng's face was filled with shock. Underworld Child was so powerful that he seemed to have the strength of an immortal. The Red World Fairy was actually able to contend with Underworld Child. That was unbelievable. Lin Feng recalled that he had seen the 9th Human Emperor and the Red World Fairy look exactly the same. Lin Feng always felt that the Red World Fairy's background was extremely shocking. That was why her cultivation was able to increase at an incomprehensible speed. Now, Lin Feng increasingly felt that the Red World Fairy's background was related to the 9th Human Emperor. "This place isn't suitable for us to fight. Otherwise, this place will be destroyed. Come with me. I will subdue you and make you my woman." Underworld Child looked at the Red World Fairy and laughed. This guy was really asking for a beating. He quickly flew into the distance. The Red World Fairy quickly chased after him. Many people were discussing who the Red World Fairy was. She was actually able to contend with a terrifying existence like Underworld Child. Lin Feng and the rest entered the Underworld to hand over the mission. Panda Cat used the Underworld Envoy token to summon the cultivator in charge of handing over the mission. In the previous battle, most of the cultivators in the Underworld had died. That was why Panda Cat did not recognize the cultivator who came out to hand over the mission. He guessed that the cultivator in charge of handing over the mission had already died in the previous battle. This cultivator needed to check everyone's Underworld Envoy token. When he saw Lin Feng's purple gold Underworld Envoy token, he was shocked and quickly greeted Lin Feng. This kind of high-level Underworld Envoy token was either owned by the higher-ups of some of the top forces in the Underworld or by some extremely powerful cultivators in the Underworld. That was why when the cultivator in charge of handing over the mission saw Lin Feng's purple gold Underworld Envoy token, he naturally misunderstood Lin Feng's identity. Panda Cat released the Een spirit. The Een spirit took out 5 hell netherstones and handed them to the 5 of them. This was their reward. Then, Lin Feng and the rest left with the female Ghost King. How strange. Why would this lord be with the underworld envoys in the Yang realm? The cultivator in charge of handing over the mission could not help but mutter. However, he did not think too much about it and returned to the underworld. After Lin Feng and the rest left, they went straight to the ancient city where the 8th underworld king used to live. 1.5 months later, they arrived at that area. That area was extremely eerie and terrifying. Even though this was the underworld, to the living beings of the underworld, this was a place that they did not dare to set foot in easily. It was said that something terrible had happened here in the past. The 8th underworld king. He had died tragically here. Moreover, the 8th underworld king had cursed before he died. Whoever dared to enter this area. Chapter 39:14. Lin Feng had come to this place to find out what had happened between the 8th underworld king and his ancestor. In fact, Lin Feng really wanted to know which ancestor the 8th underworld king had a connection with. Previously, the image was blurry and Lin Feng had not seen the ancestor's face clearly. Now, Lin Feng hoped to find some clues about that ancestor. Then, he would know who that ancestor was. In fact, the main reason was that there were too many powerful ancestors in the Sovereign Emperor clan. If there were only 1 or 2 powerful ancestors, it would be too easy to guess their identity. Wait for me outside. I'll go in and explore. Lin Feng said, let's go in together. If there's any danger, we can take care of each other. Panda said. Lin Feng said, you don't have to worry about me. I have many treasures to protect me. I won't be in any danger. Panda and the others nodded. Then, Lin Feng flew into the depths of the ancient city. Not long after, he arrived outside the ancient city. The ancient city was huge and majestic. There was no sign on it, and even the name of the ancient city had been forgotten. The 8th underworld king had been buried by his ancestor in Heavenly Sage Great World. However, the underworld said that the 8th underworld king had died in this ancient city. I wonder if this rumor is true? Could it be that after the 8th underworld king had fallen in this place, his ancestor had taken his corpse away and buried it in Heavenly Sage Great World? Perhaps. That was possible. However, with such a long history, many things were difficult to find out. Lin Feng pushed open the door and entered the ancient city. After entering the ancient city, Lin Feng felt a cold and terrifying aura from the ancient city. That gloomy and cold qi made Lin Feng's hair stand on end. Moreover, Lin Feng indeed felt the power of the curse hidden in the void. The Tao of Curse was the strangest Tao among all the great Taos. It was a great Tao that made people pale when they talked about it. Now that this place was filled with the power of the curse, it seemed that the 8th underworld king's curse was not unfounded. There was nothing in the ancient city. Lin Feng didn't even see any corpses. He was walking alone on an ancient street when a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Upon closer inspection, that figure was a woman. Lin Feng was shocked. How could a woman appear in this ancient city? It was too strange. Lin Feng increased his speed. He quickly rushed towards the woman, wanting to see who she was. However, the woman quickly disappeared without a trace, which made Lin Feng extremely puzzled. Lin Feng rushed to the place where the woman had originally appeared. After arriving here, Lin Feng suddenly felt the world around him spin. All sorts of hawking sounds could be heard. The originally empty and deserted ancient city became extraordinarily lively. Lin Feng looked at the bustling ancient city in shock. Here, it was as if the ancient city's prosperity had been recreated. Illusion. Lin Feng knew that he had fallen into an illusion. He had entered the ancient city's illusion. However, Lin Feng didn't encounter any danger. He planned to take a good look at the ancient city's scenery in the past. This shouldn't be the Netherworld, right? The Netherworld doesn't look like this. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He suddenly thought of another matter. Lin Feng remembered that the 8th Underworld King's mother was a human, and her father was the 7th Underworld King's son. Could it be here? Was this the ancient city where the 8th Underworld King's mother lived? Lin Feng felt that it might be possible. That is, Lin Feng's pupils contracted violently. He saw a father and son walking over. The father was a very young man. His face was as clear as jade, and he was extraordinarily handsome. The son looked to be around 6 or 7 years old. He was very cute. "Daddy, what is this place? What are we doing here?" The little boy asked. "Daddy is going to do something important, so I'll leave you with a good friend of Daddy's for now. Once Daddy is done with that important matter, Daddy will come and pick you up," the man said as he rubbed the little boy's head. The little boy raised his head and looked at his father. He nodded but didn't say anything. Although he was young, he seemed to be used to being separated. "I hope I won't be gone for too long this time," the little boy said after a long time. "Don't worry. I won't," the man said gently. A family of 3 walked over from afar. The man was dressed in black, and he was very handsome. The woman was as beautiful as a fairy. They had a daughter. She was around 3 or 4 years old. She was very pretty. "Brother G, hope for the stars. Hope for the moon. You're finally here." The black-clothed man was very excited when he saw the little boy's father. They had met when they were young, and they had gone through life and death together. They were good friends who had gone through thick and thin together. "Big Brother G." The little girl's mother clearly knew this Brother G, as she bowed slightly towards this Brother G. "Brother Ming, Sister Nangong, it's been many years since we last met. Are you all doing well?" The Brother G said. His name was Ji Bufan, and he was an ancestor of the sovereign emperor clan, Lin Feng. The man Ji Bufan addressed as Brother Ming was called Ming Dong. He was the son of the 7th Underworld King. The 7th Underworld King had 3 sons. Ming Dong was the 3rd son, and he was the one with the greatest talent. However, Ming Dong had left the underworld to gain experience when he was young, and he had met his current wife, Nangong Wan Heir, and they had given birth to his daughter, Ming Shueching. As such, he did not want to return to the underworld and only wanted to enjoy his family in the mortal world. "We're doing well. This isn't the place to talk. Let's go home and talk," said Ming Dong. "All right." Ji Bufan nodded. Ming Shueching, who was in Ming Dong's embrace, looked at the little brother standing beside Ji Bufan with her big black eyes. She said sweetly, "My name is Ming Shueching. What's your name?" The little boy glanced at his father and saw him smile. The little boy said, "I'm Ji Zishu." Zishu wasn't a particularly rare name. In this world, there were quite a few people with that name. However, the most important thing about Ji Zishu's 3 names was the surname, Ji. In this epoch, it was the greatest surname. However, it was clear that the little boy didn't know how great the Ji surname was. "Brother Zishu, we're good friends from now on." Ming Shueching giggled. The little girl was very lively. Ji Zishu had been traveling with his father when he was young. He was a bit of a loner, so he didn't respond to Ming Shueching. "This little guy has quite a personality," said Nangong Waner with a smile. Chapter 39:15. Late at night, Ming Dong and Ji Bufan had a long conversation. "You want to leave Zishu with me? Could it be that you're going to do that thing?" Ming Dong seemed to know what Ji Bufan intended to do, so he spoke. He wanted to speak, but hesitated as if he wanted to persuade Ji Bufan. "Yes." Ji Bufan stood up and gazed at the moon outside the window. He had his hands behind his back, and his gaze was deep. No one knew what he was thinking. "It's too dangerous," said Ming Dong. "I can't wait any longer. I have to act," said Ji Bufan. "I'll go with you," said Ming Dong. "No, it's better for me to go alone. Moreover, you have to take care of them, so you can't go. Don't worry, if I know that I can't complete that thing, I'll definitely leave in time. I won't put myself in danger. Only by staying alive can I complete that thing," said Ji Bufan. "That's for the best," said Ming Dong. After a moment of silence, Ji Bufan said, "It seems like you have to make a decision as soon as possible. Staying in the mortal dimension won't do you any good. You have to realize the position you're in is too sensitive. Perhaps you want to enjoy the happiness of a family, but it's a different story if others will allow you to do so. If you don't possess sufficient strength, then it's easy for things to happen that none of us are willing to see," said Ming Dong. "The netherworld isn't suitable for Waner. Shueching is still young, so she's even more unsuitable for a place like the Netherworld. Yes, but for their safety, you have to make a decision as soon as possible. Just because they're unsuitable doesn't mean they can't live there, said Jibufan. I'll think about it carefully, said Ming Dong. Jibufan nodded. The next day, Jibufan left. At practically the same time that Jibufan left, the passageway to the Netherworld opened, and powerful beings of the Netherworld appeared. And the target of those Netherworld beings was Nether Movement. He's in this ancient city, Master said. Kill him if you see him. Kill him immediately. We'll act at night, said the terrifying beings. Danger was approaching, but Ming Dong didn't notice it. Darkness descended, and the terrifying beings flew towards the ancient city. Boundless darkness shrouded the ancient city, and the power of death permeated the ancient city. Many of them had their lifespan plundered and died in their sleep. There were also many who had not slept and had their lifespan plundered rapidly as well. It didn't matter if the person was asleep or awake. None of them could resist the power of death. Soon, the entire ancient city turned into an ancient city of death. At this time, Ming Dong finally realized that something was wrong. He quickly got up and saw the darkness outside. Ming Dong was shocked and quickly went back to his room to wake up his wife. Then he woke up Ming Xueqing and Ji Zixu. Mother, I'm afraid. Ming Xueqing was still young, and when she saw the endless darkness that enveloped the world, she revealed a terrified expression. She could feel that something extremely terrifying was staring at her from the darkness. Don't be afraid. Father and Mother will protect you. No one will hurt you. Nangong Wan patted Ming Xueqing's head. Ming Xueqing nodded and buried her head in Nangong Wan bosom. Zixu, good child. There are uncles and aunties here. Don't be afraid. Nangong Wan looked at Ji Zixu and said, I'm not afraid. Ji Zixu said, do you know what you'll face after accepting this mission? Ming Dong said coldly. A voice sounded from the darkness. Third Prince, we have no choice. We won't kill you. It's not just us. Our clansmen. I'm afraid they'll die without a grave. So, we can only kill the third prince and his family. Then, we'll report back. Another voice sounded from the darkness. There's no need to say anything else. Let's just kill them. Next, endless darkness enveloped them. I'll hold them back. You take the two children and leave first. Ming Dong said. Monstrous magic power surged out and enveloped Nangong Wan, Ming Xueqing, and Ji Zixu. Brother Dong, you must come and find us. Nangong Wan said worriedly. Don't worry. These people can't do anything to me. Ming Dong said. The magic power that enveloped Nangong Wan, and the others tore through the void and left. Terrifying beings from the underworld wanted to chase after them, but they were stopped by Ming Dong. Kill him with all your might. A cold voice sounded from the darkness. The terrifying beings from the underworld began to attack Ming Dong madly. Ming Dong was the son of the Nether King. His cultivation was naturally terrifying. Therefore, even if those terrifying beings attacked him together, they still couldn't defeat him. They were still unable to defeat Ming Dong. Instead, they were killed by Ming Dong one after another. Ming Dong was about to kill all the underworld beings in one go, to find his wife, daughter, and Ji Zixu. Suddenly, a war spear stabbed out from behind Ming Dong without any warning. The spear was too sudden. It was as fast as lightning, and its power was terrifying. There was no way to dodge the incoming spear. At this extremely dangerous moment, Ming Dong still turned his body and grabbed the incoming spear. However, the power of the battle spear was too great. It instantly shook off Ming Dong's palm. Then, the terrifying spear pierced Ming Dong's chest with a poochie sound. 9 Underworld's demonic spear. 9 Underworld's demonic spear. Big brother, I don't want the position of Nether Lord, but you want to kill me. Ming Dong was bleeding from his 7 orifices, and he had an extremely sorrowful expression on his face. A silver-haired man appeared. He looked at Ming Dong with an indifferent expression and said, My good little brother, actually, I don't want to kill you. I can't bear to kill you, but your natural talent is too formidable. You're so much younger than me. Your cultivation is about to catch up to mine, Father. He also hopes that you can inherit his position as the Nether King. I have no choice but to kill you. Please don't blame me. If you want to blame someone, then blame yourself for being reincarnated as the son of the Netherlord. But don't worry, you won't die alone. Very soon, your wife and daughter will die with you. The silver-haired man laughed gloomily. Let's die together. Tears of blood flowed from Ming Dong's eyes when he heard this. His body swelled up, and he wanted to explode. He wanted to drag his big brother down with him. However, the silver-haired man didn't give him the chance to do so. When Ming Dong's body swelled up, the silver-haired man held the war spear in one hand and flicked Ming Dong into the air. His hand that was holding the war spear suddenly shook. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.